Well, this is David from ConMenRDW. This is the Commentary Podcast, the geeky nerdy show for geeky nerdy people. I'm your host, David, and I'm also here with two of my niggas, HE Back Tech.
Niggas. Yo, what's good? It's me, the monkey.
Yeah.
And I'm here with the King.
What's poppin', babies?
Yes, no Marc today, unfortunately. He has things going on, so he will be here next time, but he's here in spirit.
In spirit.
Yes. But we appreciate all y'all for being here, joining us on another episode of the Commentary Podcast, the geeky nerdy show for geeky nerdy people here, recording live at twitch.tv/ConMenRDW on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hanging out with us in chat or in post or through highlights or whatever, however you're seeing this content, we appreciate you being here in general. So thanks for hanging out with us for the time being. That being said, if you are new here and you don't know where to find us, definitely look us up over on Blue Sky. You can find us at ConMenRDW, that's ConMenRDW on Blue Sky. Pretty much the links for all of us, AG Back Tech, Marc Not Marc, King 2 Darks, and David RDW are all pretty much there. You can just click the following and then find us in the following list. We're also going to have a Beacons account soon where all of our subsidiary links are also going to be there as well. But if you're also watching on Twitch, you can also find our links in the description down below to follow us subsequently down there as well. We've been posting a good amount over there on Blue Sky. We're at 49 followers. Oh, we're edging on 50. Oh, we're edging.
Hey. Let's do
But
it.
follow us over there. Definitely, we could appreciate the follow to get these posts out there. We're posting good shit over there. Like I've been posting a lot since the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct happened this week, which we'll talk about. But before we get into that, also got to let you know that BRENDON, aka AG Back Tech, has a SoundCloud. So the music that was playing before the stream started, all of that was made by him. Really chill beats, lo-fi beats for geeky nerdy people. Very good stuff. BRENDON, tell him about it.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, so this is the kind of music that I've always liked, where like I like having stuff in the background. I'm always doing stuff, and me and my ADHD, I gotta have that kind of stimulus to keep me going. And yeah, it's just been a really fun time. I have a lot more that I'm still working on, and I have something really special I'm gonna work on like real soon. But yeah, just definitely stay posted. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before, but if you follow me on Blue Sky and Instagram, I will be posting previews and snippets of the tracks before they go live. And then if you follow me on SoundCloud, guess what? I'll let you guys know when it's all live and it's all there. So you're definitely going to be hearing this music on my streams, David streams, Al streams, Marc streams, pretty much everybody in the ConMen crew. Like I've given them my express permission to play my music on streams because I'm like, hey, you know what? As much as I like the license shit, I kind of want to make my own so that way I don't get fucking clapped because fuck it, why not? So yeah, if you really like the chill vibe, like lo-fi chill hop, hip hop inspired stuff, that's definitely a great spot. I definitely give me a follow on SoundCloud. As I'm getting better, I am working to get a Spotify at some point, but I want to give a huge shout out to my older bro Cosmo. He is on Spotify and his music is also available for Instagram Reels as well as TikTok. He is very similar minded to me in regards to music style and genre. So if you like my stuff, of course, I appreciate your support. Give me a follow. Stream my shit, share it to everybody else, spread the love. And I also give a shout out to Cosmo, aka like my older bro, aka Cosmo. While he didn't teach me this, he inspired me to do it because I like the stuff that he makes. So we're very similar minded in that thing. So yeah.
Hell yeah. That being
Hey,
said, if you want to listen to the music that was playing during that whole hashtag Shameless plug, that was his. So go and listen to it on SoundCloud for sure. Spotify when you boost it on SoundCloud enough, then he'll post it on Spotify. Goddamn.
Yeah, I need the support to see, hey, people like my shit. I'm not trying to hustle fucking CDs on the corner of State and Lake, okay?
He's trying
I'm
to
actually
hand you a
a
nondescript USB flash drive.
Yeah,
He's trying to airdrop files to your phone.
It's gonna start up with and then the music starts.
That's gonna be your new like your new music tag, like how DJ Khaled has the. We're just gonna hear the DK. Yeah, Monkey Productions.
And it just starts. He's one of the non-use sounds. Just
oh yeah, that's good. Oh man. Let's see. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna get rolling with this show. It's gonna be a very gaming forward show this week because of the news, but you know what?
Good
Geeky
news.
nerdy stuff, and that's what's going on this week. Anytime a console is the big news for the week, that's always gonna be like the headline for like the whole next 7 days anyway. So
Yes, sir.
Basically.
yeah, let's get into it. So, I personally have been Nintendo pilled for because of this, the excitement of
Surprise,
the
surprise.
because of the Nintendo Switch news, but also just in general. I wanted to take a break from Monster Hunter because we've been playing that a lot since Wilds dropped. So I have been personally playing through Super Mario RPG, which is the remake of Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars for SNES, the one that dropped on the Switch about like a year and some change ago. I've always heard good
It's been
things
that
about it.
long.
I have never played it myself, and it is great to finally just be going through this story, and I'm having a good time so far.
It really
Really
is
enjoyable.
it really is a David ass game. Like I figured you would like it, especially because I know you like Paper Mario.
Oh
So I'm
yeah.
like, this Mario RPG is a classic.
Yeah, I never played this one when I was younger since I literally started with Paper Mario on the N64, so I was like a little bit too young for RPG, but growing up I always knew about it. I just never like got around to playing it. I tried to play it when it was on like Wii Virtual Console or like the SNES Classic Virtual Console, but like it wasn't really clicking. But the fact that they remade it from the ground up, added really good visuals and CG for the game, definitely made it a little bit more appealing. It does feel like it's literally just these current gen visuals and graphics and operations over the skin of the old game, because it's just like, man, this is just a straight up turn-based RPG. But the action commands really do help. Like I've mentioned before, it's like I'm not really big into basic turn-based RPGs, which is one reason why the Pokemon formula kind of bores me, because it's literally press the button, wait for the attack to happen, press the
Mhm.
button, wait for the attack to happen. There's no extra layer of gameplay, but the action command system where you can time your button presses with the stuff happening on screen, and you'll get like either to dodge or block attacks to negate damage, or you'll do extra damage and stuff like that. That's baked into the system here. And it's really good, so that just keeps me engaged throughout the battle system. I really love that. Like that's one reason why I like Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi RPG series as well. Just like the action commands.
Those are good.
So anytime there's like a turn-based RPG and it gives me the option to fast forward, I'm just like, why the fuck are we doing this? So,
Oh
really
yeah,
enjoying
sure.
my time with Super Mario RPG. I think the game is about 10 to 12 hours long. I'm like
Really?
9 hours in so far, and I have like, I think I have 4 out of the 7 or 5 out of the 7 stars so far. So I'm really close to the end of the game, like over halfway done. So yeah, I should be rolling credits probably by like early next week before South of Midnight comes out, which is pretty much the goal at this point. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Is there?
Yeah. Let's see. And then I know Mark was gonna bring in some pretty interesting binges, but unfortunately he is not here, so we cannot talk about him. I will
Yeah.
say Beyblade's on the come up, and also Steel Hunters looks cool.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll talk about him
Beyblade
next
has been
time.
a, yeah, Beyblade has been on the come up for a bit, especially like they had like a huge pop off, like tournaments are popping off again, and then with this new animators dropping, I'm like, all right,
There's new wares in all stores.
I can't believe we're gonna watch Moses part the Red Sea with a Beyblade again.
Dude,
It's fucking
it's
insane.
like we're
The fact
getting
that that's canon that still baffles me.
yeah. And it's like I'm going
It's
into people's houses for work and I'm seeing like Beyblades in kids like play areas and stuff, and I'm like, "Oh shit, we're fucking back."
you're gonna fuck around, David. You're gonna be like, all right, you're gonna run to a customer that's like our age, and you're like, you trying to go? Fucking let her rip, fucking in the
Just
dome.
pull a Beyblade out of my fucking tool bag.
You got listen. And if I've learned anything from watching fucking Yu-Gi-Oh, like a lot of the series of Yu-Gi-Oh, everybody got them things on them. Either there's a dual
Mhm.
disc or a deck of cards. They're ready to fucking throw down at any point in time. So no exceptions here. You got to have it on a fucking holster. You got to whip it out and be like, you ready to go? Fucking
Mhm.
insane.
Now, for those to we can sell this one of four ways. Like a Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I have a Beyblade. I have a Pokemon. If you really want to throw that, I got a Metabot as well.
No,
Hey
not a
man, don't
Metabot.
sleep on. You got to pull out a fucking. You
You
got to
got a
pull out your
Betamon.
fucking. You got to pull out your fucking PDA and get your Digimon on deck. Like, don't fuck. Don't fuck with me.
Speaking of Digimon, the fact that they had like apparently like after their like the con they just had, apparently there was like a bunch of Digimon news that all recently just dropped.
They got a new game, like another game coming in. Like they showed off like
there's like a
some
new
of the
thing going
shit.
with the cards.
Yeah, and I'm like, it sucks that Digimon and Metabots, like honestly, just a very random side tangent, like not related to the news per se. There were so many of those fucking shows. I forgot the exact title of the genre, but the shows like Yu-Gi-Oh, Beyblade, Pokemon, Digimon,
Battle creatures,
Metabots, fucking Yokai Watch, like shit like that. It was just so many of them. And it's just like, damn.
Yeah, it's just like the
kind of
collectible battle creature genre. Yeah.
Yeah, it has an exact name because, of course, that's geared towards fucking the youngest audience before they get into shonen. But still, it's fucking crazy how many of them were.
I am surprised that Digimon hasn't like done a super massive reboot with the anime to keep up with Pokemon.
that would go really hard right now, like a full on Digimon reboot. What's that off?
Because they did kind of do that back in, I think, what was it, 22?
Yeah, they did do like a Digimon anime, yeah.
And it was actually really, really good.
But yeah, it's old men yelling about old shit.
Yeah. So let's start yelling about new shit. So
we got the new shit.
This whole week was pretty much us waiting for Wednesday for. Wait, 1 second.
Wait, we forgot the calendar.
Oh yeah, 1 second. Yeah,
I got it.
I was getting preemptive.
I will take care of the calendar if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So, starting off with a classic, because we're seeing a lot of old games coming back. Start off with Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy,
which is a crazy pull.
A huge crazy pull. So this is THQ and THQ Nordic. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess they're going back into the vault. It makes me wonder if they're gonna pull off games like these. Are we gonna get fucking Tack and the Power of Juju, the license shit back?
Honestly, I take Tack back, to be honest.
Tack will be good. But yeah, this is a return of an old classic action game. And yeah, if you played the original Sphinx and you want to catch back up on this is good. I know it was not Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. That's the one. That also came back recently. Like we talked about that a couple weeks ago. So we're starting to see a resurgence of a lot of retro games getting re-released, which is great. Speaking of retro games being re-released, David ass game incoming. Croc, the Legend of the Gobos, is coming back on modern platforms.
Returned.
This is his boy, old school platformer from 1997 on the PS1. Oh boy. This game came out during the heyday of the mascot action and platforming games, a la like Mario 64, for example, or like Mario 64, Spyro, fucking Crash Bandicoot, things like that. Honestly, I've always appreciated Croc, like really, really, really cute little dude. Never really got a chance to play the games, but I know David was going off about this.
Dude, I never had the system to play Croc because it was on PlayStation 1.
It was PlayStation only.
Nintendo 64 kid. So I was at, I remember the first time I saw it, I was at KinderCare, and a kid, we were having like some type of day or something, some kid or one of the teachers brought in their PlayStation 1 and hooked it up to a CRT on a rolling cart. And I got to play it for like all of 10 minutes. And that fucking embedded like a core memory in me. And then years later when Croc 2 came out on PC, I got Croc 2. So I was playing that, but I never owned the original until like high school when I got a PlayStation 2 used from GameStop, and they got a copy of Croc because that PlayStation was backwards compatible. Then I played Croc for the first time. This game's hella mid. It's hella mid. But aesthetically, it's a fucking 10. Like
this game is David coded.
Croc is a great character design, dude.
When I met David and I learned like, okay, these are the games he liked to play as a kid. I'm like, I see Croc. I'm like, yeah, nah, this is a David ass game for real,
dude. Yeah. But there's a lot of bonus content in here too. Like
and the fact that like Argonaut Games is still around, like a studio like this from this long ago would have been killed or bought up by somebody or both. But it's really great to see that they are still around and this IP is still able to come back, or at least like re-releasing the originals. So who knows? Maybe I would love to see like a full-on reboot of this, but I'm glad that
Oh,
they're able to
yeah.
bring back the classics and make it more modern, at least playable on modern systems. Speaking of game being playable on modern systems, Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is now available on a PC.
Happy for
And
the PC people, I guess.
I
happy for the PC people, happy for the Last of Us fans, and people are saying that even on the Steam Deck, the game runs well. So it's just like,
I
okay,
need to get this game.
Yes, you
yeah.
do.
So in case you guys aren't aware, this is the sequel to the one of the most popular games on the PlayStation era, and of course, inspiring the Last of Us TV show, the same name, Last of Us Part 2. Not much to say. If you've played Last of Us Part 2, great. You already know what happens. You're now able to play it on PC with more support for native 4K resolution, AI upscaling, a bunch of the other shit
Good looking
that
game looks
the
gooder.
PS5, the game looks good, better, good. There you go. So that's what you're getting out of this version. It's basically what the PS5 Pro can't do 100%. Let's be fucking real.
Mhm.
But yeah, though if you want to check it out, it is available now on PC, and obviously, no shit, it is available on PS5. I do think the PC versions of these games are the best way to play it at high power.
Yeah.
And of course, they also added some more shit, like with the modes they added a roguelike mode. They have like ultra widescreen support. So for you weirdos with a super wide monitors, the size, the width of your desk, guess what? You can see all of that glory.
Oh, I know somebody like that.
I know, right? Same. So do I. But yeah, this is definitely very cool to see this game get ported up to PC, which we all kind of saw coming. And coming out, we have South of Midnight. You want some
God, I
fucking
wait for this.
Bayou folklore? There you go, boy.
Dude,
You
this
got
is-
South of Midnight coming out in a couple of days now. A game that is actually on the ConMen anticipated gaming list. A new term I'm coining, not official yet, but this is a game that we've all had our eyes on from the studio from Compulsion Games, the same people who brought you We Happy Few. I see this as I've been playing We Happy Few. I am cautiously optimistic, just because in that game I just finished like the first act, and a lot of shit was front loaded in the first act. The rest kind of falls apart. So I'm hoping that this game does not do that, and it holds up with everything that it's going for. Like, it's got the low frame rate, stop motion-esque animation style, which looks amazing. I would love to see this as a full-on movie, especially exploring Southern folklore, because the fact that, like, hey, look, folklore is pretty much around everywhere, like folklore mythologies and in a lot of cultures. And in the US specifically, we have Southern folklore, and then we have shit in like Appalachia, like the fucking like the Mothman, for example. And then you got other mysterious ass cryptids and creatures that are around here. But yeah,
So apparently, apparently she's been getting the Aloy treatment from some people.
Oh, are they trying to
Of
like make
course.
her look more attractive or something?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Anyway.
Okay, any fucking who. This game looks really great. I do want to check this out. If you're down for the stuff in the bayou, like voodoo and everything else there, this is a game really worth checking out. Even if it's not, obviously it's not going to be a 10 out of 10. Let's be real, but it's going to be a very impactful game, and this game does deserve its flowers during Game Awards time. So I'm really hyped to see that.
Cannot wait.
Cannot wait. Coming up next, we have Tiny Garden. This is a Switch and PC game coming out on the same day and date as South of Midnight. Not many people are really going to be talking about it, but that's okay because this is a very small game. This is very cute. It's just a very small pocket garden. Like, think Polly Pocket, but for a garden you can have like in the palm of your hand.
Yeah,
This is such a cute ass idea, bro. I think Aisha will love this.
It's like a perfect mobile game.
Yeah, it does.
Like, it does. I hope they make a mobile port, but for the time being, Switch is going to be your only mobile platform. But this is definitely one of those chill garden management games. Like, honestly, I could definitely see like a small, like, I could see someone 3D print one of these. Al, I can see you 3D print one of these things. And fucking nature garden. This is really cute. Like, I really appreciate what they're doing with this. Very, very cozy game coming out April 8th. So definitely enjoy. Definitely take the time to slow down, smell the flowers, and enjoy.
Aisha plays this. She would
enjoy things while you can. Speaking of enjoying things while you can, the game I'm looking forward to that I have not played yet, which I'm fucking mad at. Duck Detective: The Secret Salami.
I could have swore this game was out already, to be honest.
It is, but it's coming to iOS and Android.
Okay.
Seductive duck voice.
So, if you want to listen, I wish the duck was voiced by Keith David. It would have been so much better. But I digress. Duck Detective is an interactive point-and-click mystery game where you're going around gathering clues, investigating the crimes, as well as questioning all the potential suspects to get as much information as you can. It's very cute, very charming, very witty, very funny. Honestly, one of those, and it's coming to iOS and mobile, iOS and Android. So if you want a mobile game, a really fun mobile game to play while you're just killing time at work, this game is for you. It's coming out in a couple of days on the mobile platforms, and it did release last year, May 23rd, for all major systems. So Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC. So definitely get your hand. Oh, sorry, not PlayStation. Believe it or not, only Xbox, Switch, and PC. So definitely give it a shot if you want a good laugh, and you love if you love like the cheesy mystery games. This is a good one. And last but not least, we have Blueprint dropping on April 10th from the same people who brought us fucking Friends vs. Friends. Same publisher, Raw Fury, is making this game. Blueprints is a very interesting puzzle game as you're exploring. It's giving Myst, like old school first person explorative puzzle game, context narrative, like environmental based storytelling in its narrative.
That's like a procedurally generated type beat, though.
Yeah, and like I'm loving the art style with it. It's going cel shaded, a little bit more animated, unlike Myst. And yeah, it's random generations where you basically build the rooms you're trying to solve the crimes in. It's giving escape room in a way when it comes to like its concepts on how you dive in.
Apparently, it's like you're a nephew who inherited this mansion, and like it has 45 rooms, but your uncle's like there's a 46th room, so you have to figure out the whole thing. And it's like every room connects to a different room, and then you can unlock different ways to get those rooms, and you rearrange the house and other stuff. It's really crazy. It's gonna be on Game Pass too. Okay.
So in short, if you love playing escape rooms and like piecing together how things all interconnect, this is the game for you. And this is a really cool concept. I'm looking at the title, like one of the taglines says, "Welcome to Mount Holly, the mysterious manor with shifting rooms." I'm like, yes, just like the cave. So yes. So yes, this is definitely something that's really cool. Randomly generated elements in like each room that you find, and honestly, this is going to be very good. A really good brain teaser.
Look like it's gonna be fun to play.
Yeah, this definitely feels like an Al coded game. I think you'll really like it. So, and we have a couple of friends that would actually really like this game too. So yeah, this game is coming out on April 10th. So that is about next show. Actually, that's when this game will be available. It is coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Of course, no Switch port yet, unless they try to change their mind. I don't know. And like David mentioned, it is coming to Game Pass as well. So if you are a subscriber to Game Pass or Game Pass Ultimate, you will get a chance to play this day and date once it drops. And speaking of things that dropped, that is it for the calendar. We're going to go ahead and grab our seats and drop our asses into the box seats because it's time for the King's Court. Take it away, Al.
Absolutely. If I could figure out what's happening with my camera there for a second.
Lamau, you went to the Shadow Realm. You found the 46th room. I'm telling you. 46th room.
All right, but with that being said, I guess that means it's my turn. So, all right, everybody, welcome to the King's Court. I'll bring you the latest news in sports, esports, motorsports, all sports. And this week, I have some sports news for you. And believe it or not, shocker to everybody, it's all going to be centered around the Nintendo Switch. One of the big ones is the fact that 2K is actually going to be coming over to the Switch. Now, this is going to be very interesting for a number of different reasons. So, 2K in particular, like 2K sports games, so WWE 2K as well as 2K NBA is going to be coming over to the Switch. The reason why this is going to be such a very interesting thing for me to go about seeing is because not only does 2K sports games have their own personal servers that they end up doing. Like, for example, with NBA 2K, there's the My Career mode, which is like which is basically practically 100% online. But further on top of that as well, it does have its own microtransactions, and I don't know how Nintendo's really going to work with the microtransactions since normally the platform that is on gets a cut of whatever transactional money that they end up making off of it. So I don't know if there's any other Nintendo games that has microtransactions like that.
Yeah, it's other than Fortnite. If you want to make that as the exception here, it's yeah, like you said, it's really not that common for games with the aggressive levels of micro that these current sports games are known for coming to the prestige family friendly console that is the Nintendo Switch.
I mean, I think if anything with this, it's like I bet they were happy that the Switch 2 apparently now just has the ability to have its own version of these games that's not just like an afterthought because who the
Hmm.
fuck gets like I know I've seen some people get these games on Switch, but it's like if you have
Yeah, because
literally no other choice. But now
yeah,
it's like
yeah, because
now these are going to be comparable to those other versions at least.
yeah, I would yeah, basically,
Right.
and especially we'll go more into it later in the cave as well as in the subsequent sections, but with the Switch 2 being as powerful as it is, at least on paper, it's like David said, it's getting very comparable to a console-like experience, at least like while docked in, and also incredibly similar to the PC handhelds like the ROG Ally, the Legion Go, the Steam Deck, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it is really fascinating to see such a high a I wouldn't say NBA 2K is the highest fidelity game, but in comparison to how it used to be on the Switch and the Switch Lite, those game if you like David said, like you guys have said, if you're buying 2K NBA, if you're buying a sports game on the Switch, you're either buying it for your kid who loves the sport, or you are down bad to play NBA. Like I don't know what
Actually,
else to tell you.
I would take up another way to say like, or either that, or you're just that casual, which is honestly a bit of a good thing because when it comes down to it, like for the 2K lobbies, it is cross. If you're in the current generation, it doesn't matter what console you're playing on, it all kind of comes around the same way. So now that you're going to have it where you're going to be having people play on the Switch, going up against new gens, which is now just current gen, fortunately, because that's a whole nother issue that 2K was dealing with. You now have the new gen with the Switch, the new gen with the PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. So
Mhm.
these are all kind of going head to head with each other. So I mean, like you said, I'm gonna leave it up to you when we get into the K, but that also kind of speaks up with how high the expectations that Nintendo has that they feel that their hardware can keep up with the demand for this type of online play.
Yeah, well, yeah, like, and I have a lot of thoughts going on that, but touching back on the whole casual aspect, I remember you had called me, believe it or not, asking me about like we're talking about sports games and like how what the bottom line is when it comes to players and how often that they play and things like that. And you had asked somebody, you say, "Hey, do you play video games?" Like, yeah, I play these games. I play NBA or I play Madden. Like, how often do you play? Like, maybe at most 12 to 20 hours a week. So that's like a couple hours a day at best. And it's just like, all right, that definitely feeds into this where this is really going to be geared towards those who are like, hey, look, I want to just boot up the game, like not taking it all too seriously, make my character, but this time I get to take it on the go. I get to be like on the train or
Yeah,
on my lunch break, stuff like
I
that.
was thinking of that for sure.
Hmm.
The way that this could be like the best way to play these
It,
games on the
it
go
really
instead
is.
of worrying about having a chunky ass like portable
Steam Deck
PC,
or an
just have
OLED.
the Switch on you. So
And even
Yep.
then, it's like if the ports of these games are stable enough, even because like the PC ports of these sports games are notorious for being bad. So if Nintendo can capitalize on this, that's a huge market that'll happily jump in and play this because a lot of the casual gamers that are out that play these kinds of games or at least have a console, they're playing sports games like this. They may be playing Call of Duty or Warzone or DMZ or whatever the fuck free version of COD they can get their hands on. Sometimes they're playing Fortnite, and then the list goes on. Makes you wonder what else they're going to try and slap on here. But what else we got going on? Speaking of slapping,
Yeah. So keeping with the sports thing as well, another one that's a really big one that's going over here is EA is also stepping their foot inside
E.
of the Switch ring, as with them bringing over EA Football Club as well as EA Madden. honestly they're two flagship sports games.
Yeah.
So that's actually pretty huge.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the way that football club is currently ran. A very again, that's another high. Honestly, I would say when it comes down to it, um, like the football club is probably more demanding than any other sports game that's out there.
Yeah, I can agree.
So with the fact that them bringing this over there to the Switch, both the football club and the Madden is pretty big.
And it makes you wonder if it does well, NCAA.
That's possible. And I was also thinking like going further than that, what's stopping them from also bringing over like UFC as well?
Yeah, literally just every sports game ends up on the Switch when they have proof of concept.
Yeah, especially once you expand on this idea of like, okay, being able to take some like sports games are, like I said, by far are the most casual games that people on a regular basis would play. Like you're non-gamer. Like my dad would play fucking Madden, or he play to be more exact, he will play PGA Golf 25. My older brother would play Madden or 2K, and like on his lunch break, or if it's slow enough at work, he will just whip it out and play it for a good like hour and a half, depending on what he can get into. So this is a big push for, and Nintendo, like I'm pretty sure what you guys mentioned, Nintendo is very confident that they could capitalize on this market, and it actually brings back competition again. Because if things, and again, we'll go more into the cave and to the actual segments talking about the Switch 2. This, while Nintendo has not been known for, with the exception of like the 90s, they're not really known for competing heavily against big contenders, especially in current era where Sony, Xbox, and Windows are like the main competitors against each other in the console war. This definitely shakes things up, because that means that this brings the power of a home console you could put in your pocket without you having to grab, like David said, a chunky portable PC, or without having to set up your Xbox when you're traveling, like shit like that. So it's definitely fascinating to see them dive in on this. Like sports games, they're not hella demanding, but they do have a decent amount of graphical fidelity going on. So who knows?
And from a lifestyle standpoint, them putting their foot inside of the gaming market, I mean the sports simulator market like this, is such a big deal. One big reason is being because another thing is a lot of people have kids as well who wants to enjoy these games. You're not going to be able to sit in front of your computer for hours on end trying to play a game, or you're not going to be able to keep your kid in the same room as you. So you're going to have to go to them, or you're going to have to be with them. And this gives them that perfect opportunity of basically saying, you could be a parent. I'm not going to lie, I was more thinking like a lot of fathers, because we already know what guys play these games too. It's their biggest market. Not saying that women don't, but this is definitely guys.
This is the most, hey dad, happy Father's Day, I got you Madden on the Switch. Like, dead ass. And like, funny you mentioned this as well. Speaking of the kids, this is another angle I want to pitch to you. Couch play. Sports games are one of the only few games where couch play is still alive. Everything else is online. So bearing that in mind, this is like case in a perfect example. Al, you get Madden on the Switch 2, and let's say, hey, I'm going to go visit some of my siblings, because I'm going to visit. It's family reunion out of state. I'm going to be visiting my siblings for like a day or two, like for that weekend. You could bring your Switch and then be like, all right, you want to talk shit? You want to say that your Packers is better than my Bears? All right, run the ones. And you just set it up like that. So, like,
it's a fight at the family reunion.
The brackets at the family reunion. You can run back March Madness at the family reunion.
Oh, Duke lost? You want to say that to my face?
Exactly. And that's what this is for. This is a big move, because sure. A majority of casual gamers or gaming enthusiasts to a degree do have a Xbox, have a PlayStation, and can play these. Like, case in point, an Xbox Series S is like $300 or less, because they're just giving that shit away. And it plays games like these just fine. But how often are you going to fucking lug around your Xbox Series S to go on trips, right? Granted, It is very small by comparison to the Series X. However, the Switch, Al, you can put the Switch 2 in your fucking pockets. I know you
Yes.
got deep ass
He
pockets.
can.
Yes, I can.
You got your inventory space, bro. It fits in your inventory just fine. Fucking with that being said, this will definitely work out in Nintendo's favor as a whole. This is definitely going to help if the flagship titles aren't going to push units. This will. This will be a huge seller, especially during holiday time, because that's when the games go. The sports games go dirt cheap because the new ones come out. So once like Madden 26 or 2K26, whatever the fuck comes out, 2K25 is going to be cheap, and this is the time to get it. That'd be the time to get it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what other things they end up bringing out when it comes down to these sports games coming onto the Switch. Like for example, the fact that they're bringing over a game called Dragon. I think it's called Dragon Drive.
Dragon Drive.
And
Dragon Drive, yeah.
that game actually looks a lot of fun.
So it's giving ARM's successor of unique sports game take. But go on, Al.
Yeah, so Dragon Drive is a game that was actually announced at the Nintendo Direct, which is basically handicap basketball. So it is a 3v3 wheelchair-bound basketball game that uses the Switch's Switch 2's new motion controls to help not only move around in the wheelchair, but also to go about making shots, taking blocks, going up for dunks. This game actually altogether looks awesome.
It looks sick, actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I'm actually happy about this because not only is this the honestly, this is the first handicap sports game that we actually have seen. I have from my recollection, we don't have anything like that. We didn't even have like a Paralympics game.
Yeah,
we don't have a handicap basketball game. This is the first time I've seen, or at the very least, this is the first time it actually got pushed hard into a front four light, and I love it. This game looks fun, and it uses a cool mechanic. Everything down from how you move around with the ball, how you pass it, how you actually wait for the ball. It's just so much stuff that goes on into this that it looks awesome. And honestly, I'm actually excited about playing it. This is actually gonna be one of the games that I know I'm gonna end up getting.
This looks better than Nintendo Switch Sports Basketball, that's for sure.
Yeah. I will say this. My only concern is that, like, all right, how well does the sensor on the mouse gesture work? Because not everybody's gonna have a mouse pad, or in case like David, having your playing card mat that also functions as a mouse pad. Like, not many people are gonna have like a smooth, clean surface to reliably do this with. But past that, I do love the idea that they're going with. Hence why I say this is basically an ARM successor. Fucking wheels. Like, I thought we were gonna get feet. Guess not. Wheels.
Somebody was actually I don't have the tweet. I mean, I don't have the Blue Sky post, but somebody was playing this at the Nintendo press event, and they were like, I'm gonna do the data. They didn't, because they had tables in front of all of the demo stations so people could do it that way. But this person, they were like, I'm gonna just play it on my pants and see how good it worked, and it worked perfectly fine. And they were like, yo, this thing is really good, even like on your pants leg. So even if you don't have like a desk in front of you, you can still just like use your legs as your mouse pad, I guess. And that's pretty cool.
All right, so I'm assuming that this thing is very well calibrated to handle stuff like that. So that does bring a bit more optimism into the room, because you can do that. Like I said, you can just be like, all right, just slide the fucking thing on your pant leg and do that. And then, of course, it is really interesting to see that, hey, look, this is a subtly Nintendo said, hey, representation matters, because there are handicapped people who like to play sports. So there you go.
But then everyone's like, oh yeah, what's up, Ella?
I was gonna say, in the live sports for this particular one right here, this basketball, it goes hard. They take this game just as serious as anybody who can stand and play.
I've seen clips of like Paralympics basketball, and they be going crazy, bro. Like, they are all very into the game.
I want to see the day where we could emulate Dragon Drive IRL, just have like half pipes on the sides and can start dunking. That would go so hard.
I'm hoping
a dunk contest in this game.
I'm hoping that Nintendo of America chooses to work with the Paralympics or like Special Olympics and use those people for press for this game, because that's
That'd be
literally
such good
what
press.
they need to do. Because if they don't, that's a fucking missed opportunity. And the writing is
Mhm.
on the wall for that. They're like, we literally can have a game that can be officially partnered with the Special Olympics or Paralympics or whatever. We can get
Yeah.
actual professional athletes that do this in real life, and we can get their opinions, and then we can have them in press. Like, this is such an easy layup for marketing.
Yep.
Nintendo just has to give a shit to do it, or if IGN or some other press outlet is able to get people like that in the space to play Nintendo Switch 2 and they never even knew about it, that would be also cool to just get their opinion on, like, does this
And you
feel good as someone who does this in real life?
and you know what this opens the door to as well?
Mm-hmm.
I want to know. I'm curious. Since we have a new system coming on the horizon, accessibility controllers. Like
Yeah,
Xbox
dude.
has theirs, PlayStation has theirs. Nintendo doesn't really have one. So it's just like I would love to see a way for people who are not able to play because they don't have their full motor faculties to do so, being able to enjoy it with like a modified controller that isn't like homebrew, like something that's like officially supported or like officially supported via first party or third party. But again, this is a slam dunk if Nintendo partners with organizations like the Special Olympics and these Olympic committees that do stuff like this. And of course, on screen we have for our video for our stream watchers and our audio listeners, we do have some examples of the wheelchair basketball, and like again, it is
And there are
really
no half pipes in the real game, unfortunately. There are no
unfortunately
no half pipes.
soon.
It's like
But yeah,
Imagine
this is fascinating.
at least like a springboard. Like, oh, he's going up for it.
The fucking they cannot have hydraulics in their fucking
Yeah,
wheelchairs. That's fucking
the
tournament illegal.
definitely the gamization of it, where you can dunk and do crazy ass shit like that.
You gotta hit him with the
Boom shakalaka!
Because something that some people don't understand when it comes down to the real sport for this is how much harder it is to try to go about doing this in comparison to regular basketball. Because you have such a limited amount of things. It's straight up. I gotta work. It's straight up skill at this point. You don't have full dribble control. You have to be able to know what to do.
Dead ass. It is all skill.
It's like tie your movement to your shooting mechanic as well. Like you can't get tired. Your arms can't get tired because you also need to be able to shoot the three. So,
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how Nintendo handles this. I'm also looking forward to playing it myself. I'm probably gonna get this. I'm hoping it's no more than $50. We'll see. Regardless, I'm gonna get it. I really am looking forward to seeing how this goes and if it gets a good enough following. Because unlike ARMS, where it was like the motion control, the boxing type of thing, it wasn't really. Rocket League likes basketball with a twist type games are very popular right now. Like there's even that one soccer game that's kind of little Rocket League esque that's coming out soon too.
Same one from the makers of Shifu.
Yeah, but the fact that we're getting this from Nintendo's side to get their hat in the ring for something like this is really sick. I really need to probably talk to some people to try to set up some drag and drive tournaments, because that's gonna be very hyped to see if this takes off in some capacity.
Lane,
we're talking to you.
For real. I just gotta say, I really do wish that I hate that ARMS flop the way it did. Because like again, it was just like the game had to rely on the motion controls, it had to rely on the gimmick. And from what we've seen over the past like decade, when motion controls were introduced, it fucks up the game in one way or another because they're forcing you to use it. Because hey, they spent money in R&D on this shit, you better fucking use it. I think ARMS would do very well as a standard Fight Night-esque, or even Al, I got to pull for you, Ready to Rumble arcade style boxing game. If it played like that, I'm cool with that. Like just off rip, if they bring back ARMS, like ARMS rearmed or whatever the fuck, if they bring that back somehow, that would be fucking great, because I loved the characters, were very charming. I would love to see like some sort of expansion on that. Hell, even like they had like some manga and comic panels for a short while. I would love to see this see ARMS come back as like alternative arcadey sport. Same thing with Drag and Drive. Like I love the idea, and they just need to lean into it to make it accessible for everybody to play. And with everything that we had just mentioned, it's just such a cool concept that honestly only Nintendo can really get away with.
Main thing with
Yeah.
Dragon Drive 2 is also it's like unlike ARMS where it was a 1v1 fighting game, you could play it with one Switch. You're gonna need multiple Switches to play Dragon Drive unless they
Yep.
figure out some type of like local like DS download play type thing where it's like you don't need the game to do a set of Dragon
Yeah.
Drive or something, but you're gonna need multiple
So,
Switch 2s to play Dragon Drive properly, so it's gonna be interesting to see
For
how that
real.
sets up.
to play it properly, or since no, yeah, you're right. I was gonna say like, or since they are doing like the share thing, as long as one person has it, everybody around you has it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Well, we
saying.
go-
But it's like you're gonna
Yeah,
still need
well-
the Switch 2s though. So
Yeah.
Right.
And that's like fucking 500 a pop.
mhm.
I mean, you could put it. You could also use the camera somehow. Just put the camera one.
That'd be
wave
interesting.
Yeah, you got a motion control with the camera. Like, honestly, last thought. I just imagine this just now. Someone has a fucking full an actual Paralympic player still has a full on chair setup where they're just in their chair just wheeling this shit
Full
with the
body
controller in their
That's
eyes.
actually pretty dope.
That'd be immersive as fuck. That'd be actually really cool.
Immersive gameplay.
Like dead ass, I'm in the game. I love it.
That is awesome. Like I said, my sports news is all Nintendo Switch related. But this has been this week in sports news.
Yes, sir. And
Yes,
with
sir.
that, do you want to take a quick little breaky break, or do you want to keep rolling into the cave and take a break?
We're rolling to the cave. I only got like one thing to go on.
All right, cool,
so
cool.
here we
Let's
go.
dive in.
All right, everybody, buckle up, buckle your pants, get your fucking goulashes and your waterproof Crocs because we're going into the cave. Nintendo Switch Edition. I got just the thing. Hit him with the old, and we're here.
Got it. We are here in the cave talking about the tech and tech related news, and this is something that I did some digging on this morning, where I got my hands on the spec sheet for the Nintendo Switch 2. So I want to go into that a little bit because I had a lot of technical questions ringing in the back of my mind as to what the hell is what. Okay, so first and foremost, going into the basics. 7.9-inch screen. They talked about that. 1080p on the tablet itself, so it's a full HD tablet as opposed to 720 on the previous version. I think the OLED was also 720, but the panel just made it look better. HDR10 and variable refresh rates up to 120 hertz, meaning that if the game supports it, you can get up to a roughly 120 FPS, and it's going to make your game look and feel smoother and look and feel more responsive. Like case in point, if you play, because most games nowadays they tend to be at 60 locked or close to, bumping up that frame rate actually does make it a lot more responsive. So it's more than just a visual effect, and it's it's definitely more so a physical feel, less so than a placebo and a visual effect. CPU and GPU, Nvidia actually got in on this. So if this console will sell, and if you're looking to invest in Nvidia, now would be a good time because
Nintendo now.
Exactly, and Nintendo consoles, they sell because they're made for these households where they want multiple systems, or they buy gifts for like their kids or whatever the fuck. So that being said, it definitely is fascinating to see that Nvidia has really jumped in on this. Since this is custom, I saw some articles talking about how this is supposedly 10 times more powerful than the original Switch. So it's like, all right, I think the original Switch I think the original Switch used AMD based architecture, if I'm correct. I think every console at that for a short time used AMD, and Nvidia was mad salty, which like makes sense. The console market is huge. Going on board, storage is at 256 gigabytes. That's fantastic. So by comparison,
Switch games are, yeah.
Exactly. By comparison, it's like if Al, your PS5 came with 1.5 to 2 terabytes out the box, like brand new 2 terabytes of storage. You could save roughly 2 to 3 times as many games. So Nintendo games being because even with a 64 gig cart on my SWOLED, I could still fit a good amount of games on there.
Yeah, dude.
So
Same.
256, that's your entire
Like,
library.
I think in my Switch's whole life, I've never had
entire-
more than maybe 72 gigs of space on my Switch with an SD card included. So
and this is
256
double.
gigs is gonna
This
go
is double that.
crazy.
That's huge.
Yeah, so David, that's your entire Switch library and Switch 2 library.
Yeah, and I'm
to
like,
an
I'm probably
extent.
gonna already, I'm probably planning on getting a micro or SD card that'll have like maybe 500 extra gigs on it, and that'll probably
Yeah, but
last me like the whole lifetime of my console. I want to have like all my games on it. I never want to delete anything. I want to be that
yeah,
type of Switch owner where I just have all my
but
games on it.
but remember, for the SD cards, they are different now. You have to get the
Yeah.
express ones because of the read-write
I'm,
speed, which that's
I'm,
another thing I'll touch on. So memory cards, like small little segment here in the cave. Memory cards and SD cards have different classes. The classes affect their read and write performance. So how fast the data can be saved and accessed. So reading and writing. Now, bearing that in mind, the micro SD Express is a new format where it's a lot faster than the traditional variant. Right now, from what we've seen, currently it's debuting exclusively on the Nintendo Switch 2, at least for portable consoles wise. But SD cards are storage devices that can be used on cameras, that can be used on phones. So going into the specs a little bit more, let me see. So going into the specs a little bit more, it's the same form factor, so it's the same exact size, but you're getting significantly faster read and write speeds. I think it says up to 900 megabytes per second of read and write speed. So for those who have either like their GoPro cameras, or even if you have a Samsung phone that still supports the SD card, this would be the fastest way to access your data. So it's like the solid state of memory cards, because flash memory only has a certain amount of speed. I think they topped out about 300, maybe 400 megabits per second, depending on the brand and depending on the class of the card. With the Express, it makes it almost 2 to 3 times as fast. So with these newer games having this higher fidelity with the 4K support, which I'll get into in just a second, or the variable refresh rate, HDR support, shit like that, that's a lot of data to move for your console to read. And your traditional SD card will not be enough. So comparing this, it's like you have the Express micro SD cards are the sports cars of the micro SD world now, versus your standard SD cards are like your SUV. They get you from A to B and they can hold a lot, but it takes them longer to get you going. Whereas with the Express, it's a lot quicker, a lot
And
more
honestly,
snappy
like
to
the
respond.
pricing doesn't look that bad. It's like the same amount of
Yeah, it's
money for
similar pricing.
for double the space on your Switch to bump it up
Yeah.
to like
Mhm.
600 something gigs. That'll be just an extra $60.
Yeah, usually SD cards tend to not be expensive at a certain threshold. It only starts to be like, all right, the 1 terabyte, the 2 terabyte cards, where you're
Yeah.
saving your entire livelihood on one small
Yeah, I
card.
think just an
That's
extra
where it gets expensive.
256 would be good for me, to be honest.
But yeah, like we have on stream, like we have on a visual for our visual learners here and our audio listeners. We're looking at a SanDisk micro SD Express card at Best Buy, 256 gigabyte card going at $60. That's standard pricing for cards that capacity. So if either for your Switch, for your camera, or whatever small device, hell, this will probably benefit your ROG Ally, David. It'd be a faster card
Oh yeah,
for
sure.
external wise. So this is definitely a huge leap in performance. And honestly, I didn't know this form factor came out. So I got to do some more research and then I'll come back to you guys on another cave segment talking about it. But let me get back to the point here. For communication, so wireless communication, it supports Wi-Fi 6. So this is the current generation of Wi-Fi. I know Wi-Fi 6E and then Wi-Fi 7 is around the corner. But basically, wireless connection is going to be a lot faster and a lot more stable as opposed to the previous generation. So online connectivity ideally should be better. Best case scenario, it's going to be a better if your home has a Wi-Fi 6 router, be it from your internet provider or you bought your own, you're going to have the best wireless performance to download games pretty quickly and have great connection online, all things considered, in a perfect environment. Bluetooth, it does support Bluetooth for the controllers. I think it's like Bluetooth 3, which is weird. I thought it'd be Bluetooth 5, but doesn't matter. Going into the output, this is a big thing because people were wondering about this with the Switch. With rumors of the Switch 2 before its official announcement, before its official reveal, it's like, oh, are they going to make a Switch Pro? No, they would never make a Switch Pro. This is just a new Nintendo Switch. So what I mean by that is that in docked mode, it supports 4K 60 FPS. So it is caught up to modern systems now. So this is where Nintendo is punching above their weight class very hard. For a portable console, you can just slap in and do 4K 60, 1080p 60 in your pocket. That's fantastic. It also supports 1080p and 1440p at 120 FPS. So that means that this system has the HDMI 2.1 standard, which again, my Xbox and PlayStation, our Xbox and PlayStations do that now. So Nintendo catching up and being modern with 4K support, not just upscale 1080p, but 4K support. I mentioned this before with as an HDMI 2.2 being announced. Have a TV if you want to get the most out of your systems these days. You got to have a TV that at least has HDMI 2.1, and my TV has it. I have the Hisense U7, I believe, 55-inch. It has that. I got that specifically for my consoles. So most modern TVs or even monitors nowadays, like good gaming monitors, even portable monitors, will support the HDMI 2.1 standard without you having to worry about converters and all that shit. So that way you get the best performance on your TV. This is going to be the best the Nintendo games have ever looked, ever.
It's crazy,
and of course, HDR10, so high dynamic range. Basically, brighter brights, darker darks, more vibrant colors. So games like Mario Kart, the new Mario Kart, or Kirby, or any of the other games that are supported for the Switch 2 are going to look sharper than they've ever been. Probably sharper than it does look on the OLED, because on the Switch OLED, it's only affecting the handheld. Colors look a lot better, a lot more vibrant, a lot more colorful. However, it's still 1080p, 720p, give or take 60 FPS on that panel. So it's not going to be as powerful as the Switch 2 with having 120 FPS, 120 hertz. Stereo output, let's be real, you're only gonna use the speakers on this external speakers seldomly. You're likely gonna Bluetooth a headset to it. That's compatible. Built-in microphone with noise cancellation. This is new, so it's going to sound like shit if you have shit going on in the background. I'm telling you.
Yeah, nobody believes in it. No one believes in the concept.
It's a great idea because noise canceling microphones have been around for a while. Because by comparison, if you have the vacuum going on in the background, or if you have like something super loud in the background, it's gonna sound like this, and it's gonna be fucking terrible.
No, yeah.
So
like they showed in the concept trailer that like somebody was talking in a group chat, and then someone started making a fucking smoothie right in the kitchen in the background, and everyone like nothing was affected, and we're like, nah, bro, we gotta do some tests on that. I do not believe.
Listen. Funny thing is, listening to it from my fucking cheap wireless Bluetooth earbuds, watching that presentation on my phone, I heard how crunchy that got, and that shit was bad. That shit was PS3 microphone that comes in the box.
We're gonna be able to hear your gdog. We're gonna be able to hear your baby. We're gonna be able to hear your fucking smoke detector beeping.
Yeah, and Call of Duty lobby's gonna go crazy.
Well, if they put COD on this, you're gonna be hearing slurs in 180p. I don't know how to tell you. 180p. But yeah, it is a fascinating concept because since the Switch 2 doesn't have, like, while the controllers obviously don't have the ports built onto them, it does have an aux port on the top. You're likely going to be using a wireless headset, kind of like this, to connect to your Switch 2, as opposed to using the microphone raw. But noise canceling is a nice plus, and they say that it's strong enough to pick you up even from across the room. So if you have your Switch into your TV and you're sitting at your couch a few feet away, theoretically it could pick you up. It's going to sound like ass. You're going to sound super far away, kind of like this. What? Yeah, no. It is it's a nice thing to have, but let's be real, buy an extra accessory, buy the external headset. It's going to be worth it. So this is what also fascinated me. 2 USB-C ports. So by comparison, let me show you. I have my SwolED right here. It only has the one. Also, hi SwolED, I miss you. It only has the one on the bottom. And that's inconvenient, especially if you want to sit it in tabletop mode. And hold on a second. especially if you want to set it in tabletop mode and have a kickstand out and you want to charge at the same time. Having the top port makes it a lot more accessible to plug in right from there and charge it while you're playing it at the same time without having to awkwardly fumble it around just to get into a comfortable position. So
I
that's
wonder
really
if
cool.
Nintendo.
Here we go. And like looking at this, the bottom port is for charging and docking. The top port is only for charging and accessories. So the data throughput on them are different. What's up, Al?
Say, I wonder how quickly Nintendo realized we have made a grave mistake when they released the Switch and realized, yeah, we can't charge this we can't charge this while we're playing it.
Yeah, the prototype is like, fuck.
A lot of workarounds had to be created for sure.
Yep. Game card slot. Would you expect? Sports Switch 2 cartridges. Micro SD card express. Here we go. David, you can only, and for our listeners at home, you can only it only supports up to 2 terabytes. The 256 is already a lot
for Nintendo games. I don't even need 2 terabytes, bro.
You don't even need 1 terabyte, brother. Let me see. Yeah, so 2 terabytes, and it is not compatible with non-express cards. So any of the older SD cards will not work. Just so you know. Battery life, 2 to 6 hours, depending on the game. 2 hours. The Switch was I think the Switch was 3 for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it really depends on what you're playing on it.
Charge time 3 hours. So expect higher fidelity games which we'll get into later to take a lot more power, and even the sports games will probably take a lot more power. So be ready to dock it on a need basis.
Also, real quick again with the SD cards. Last thing, I'd rather just be. It's still that's a little bit of Nintendo magic still when you think about it. The tech that they're able to get that,
compress the game
where it's instead of having to buy a fucking $250, $300 separate micro fucking SSD memory chip card for Xbox and PlayStation, or get an external hard drive, it's just go to the store and get an SD card for $60.
Mm-hmm.
That's some crazy work Nintendo's able to do in comparison. That's something that you need to put into consideration. They are able to do some crazy consolidation to get their shit to work certain ways that.
And
that's some weird magic.
Yeah, and honestly, it's very fascinating how well these games are optimized for, again, cartridges. Nintendo has been on the cartridge train since the 90s. So the fact that they're still able to do this on high fidelity games like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom is still fascinating to me on how they have fucking a 3-tiered world working off a cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
It's holy shit. But yeah, that's definitely interesting. The dock. What's up?
I was gonna ask you real quick your opinion on that camera that we saw.
Okay, so it's cute. I like the idea that they're going for. We'll touch a little bit more on the features of why the camera is important later. That comes into the news. But if it's support, and here's the thing, this opens the door for third-party accessories to work with the camera. So if you don't want to buy the Nintendo, case in point, the camera that I'm looking at you guys through right now is a USB-C camera. So in theory, I can plug that right into my Switch if I really wanted to. If I had a Switch. In theory. Alternatively, for my other camera that is not on right now, if I had the right setup, in theory, I could set up my mirrorless camera as a webcam and have a higher fidelity camera for using on the Switch 2.
It's those type of things are going to get tested immediately as soon as people get these things out the box.
Guarantee.
You're going to have the data within 24 hours.
Marquise Brownlee be looking at you.
I guarantee you that as long as the camera supports HDMI out via USB-C or HDMI to USB-C, it can work. In theory, it can work. So if it has the data throughput to process external video via a webcam, but it doesn't have the data throughput to process the console's internal graphics, because it's more of a video in than a video out. with how the pins are arranged. Who knows? So it's definitely fascinating. Joy-Con controllers. One of the things I liked going into the tech on this, like they're Joy-Cons are Joy-Cons are Joy-Cons, but two things I want to note. Thing number one, the Joy-Cons are magnetic now, so they no longer just clip it to the side of the console. They go connect to the side. Thing number two, the shoulder buttons are bigger, which is a huge deal for Joy-Con only players for like Mario Kart, for example. It's way more comfortable because you have to exactly like Al just did, just lock. Fuck, this motherfucker just locked this shit in. He just said, but anywho, the buttons you gotta fucking kind of crab it a little bit. They're super small, but this is there. But going on to it more, the dock. Oh, sorry, I missed the docking station. This is actually really important. So the docking station, that's what provides you the 4K output. It has a LAN port, just like the Swole LED, so LAN internet connection. USB ports on the back. I think they're USB 3, but it says USB 2 compatible according to the spec sheet. And it has a built-in fan to keep your Switch cool because this thing is really powerful. It makes me wonder if it's compatible with the OG Switch because they're similar size and like thicknesses. And at the very least, you can at least utilize not the 4K, but the LAN and the cooling system that's built onto it, as opposed to just helping to stay air cooled as much as possible with how powerful these games are nowadays.
There will be data.
Joy-Cons, not too much to say. Good, better, good. Better battery life, magnetic onto the system. And that's really it for hard specs that we are aware of as of now. As they mentioned in the video, the Switch 2 is bigger screen, same thickness as the OG Switch. So it'll likely still be able to fit in the older docks as well, where it won't have the same output performance, but it'll still be compatible. Also, for the controllers, one thing that concerns me is Nintendo was pressed on questions on will these controllers have Hall effect sensors or at the very least be better drift resistant? Because if you remember with the Switch, there were a class action lawsuit for defective Joy-Cons or Joy-Cons just going bad. Mind you, those things were like $70 a piece. So it's just like, well, not $70 a piece. It was $80 for a set. Same price now. It's expensive to replace a controller, especially if it's fucked out the box. So that being said, Nintendo had a response saying they ensure the highest quality of the controllers, that they're super durable. That's vague. That's vague marketing speak for the answer is no, but we want to make sure that our investors know that we did take this into consideration. So they say they made the sticks better. Again, we'll get data once the Switch 2 comes out. Give it like a month or 2 months. We'll have hard data on the controllers themselves, on like how well they operate. iFixit's going to fucking take it apart and be like, oh, this is not Hall effect, which is likely not. It's probably a modified potentiometer that's supposed to have higher durability. We shall see. And then the other part, another problem that I have is that for the docking station, I mentioned this up in our ConMenRDW Discord, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it up in here. The dock itself, get this, is a fourth of the price of the system. It is $109 for the dock alone. I'm like,
I mean, but also to be fair,
well, I do get it. It is a 4K pass-through compatible docking station. However, the docks are made to be relatively inexpensive, so that way you can just go ahead and have multiple around your home. Case in point, I have my dock at my desk right now. My plan is to get a second dock for like a cheaper dock, like a low profile dock for the living room. So that way I can just move my Switch back and forth. With all the tech that's in it, I do understand that it is a steep ask, but it does kind of justify itself with the cooling system, with the 4K pass-through, with the LAN integration. It's still the same Type-C connector, still going to have the same USB 2. This is the exact same dock that comes out the box, but this is one of those where this is what we call, as someone in IT, is what we call in the industry an FRU, a field replaceable unit. Meaning that if your dock fucks up, swap the dock. There you go. Problem solved. And it's supposed to be relatively inexpensive. But in a larger household where they're likely going to have your average household that can afford a system like this is going to have a system in the game room, and then the kids want to game room, the living room, and then if there was a game room, or if the kids want to bring it to their respective bedrooms, if you get multiple switches, you're spending a couple $100 on an extra docking station, and that's not including, oh, I want to take one with me when I travel, but considering that it's the same USB-C connector for video out that the regular Switch uses, I'm 60% confident that third-party docks for the regular Switch are compatible. It's just that you will not get the full performance. And let's be real, if you're traveling on the go, like you're going to a convention, your TV is not gonna be 4K in your hotel room. Let's be fucking real. So you're likely gonna have a portable monitor on your hands, or you're gonna just dock it into a TV with one of those cheap little travel docks for like $50 or $40 that you get from like Best Buy or Target or Temu, and plug in and go, throw it in your bag when you're done. Bada bing, bada boom, moving on. And speaking of moving on, that is going to be it for the cave. We're going to go ahead and jump right into the news after our quick little breaky break.
So with that being said, it is time to get the fuck out. Wait, wrong button. All right, here it is. It's right here.
Doors closing.
All right.
Cool. And with that, we are going to go on a quick little breaky break. We're going to get up, stretch, use the bathroom, and re-up on hydration, and we'll be back with more.
Yeah, I am back with the news.
Empty.
We're back with the news, talking about Nintendo Switch 2 BRB. All right, and we're back with the ConMentary podcast, the Geek Nerd Show for Geek Nerd people. We're post-break, and we're about to talk about the news last week, today, tomorrow, right now.
Yeah.
And let's get into it. This week is Nintendo News Central. Like we had last week, the Nintendo Direct happened. The week before the Nintendo 2 Direct, we had a couple games dropped. Rhythm Heaven and also Tomodachi Life are coming back. We got more news on Metroid Prime 4. This week was the Nintendo Switch 2 full-on Direct, where we had pretty much all the information that we wanted dropped. We got the price. We got the specs, like Brendan was just going over. We got more game announcements. We got a whole bunch of stuff. And pretty much for what Brendan went in on the specs, we're going to go into a little bit more detail on certain things. And then we're going to just highlight the games from that Nintendo Switch Direct. So, I mean, basically as like the Nintendo fan on the show, that fucking Direct was amazing. That's like a 9.5 out of 10 for me. I'm getting the Switch 2 day one, obviously. The pre-order should open up April 9th at GameStop, so I'm going to probably hit up my local GameStop and pre-order this thing immediately, put it on a zip pay, paying for it, and I'm fucking good. We're paying it. Either way, I'm getting this thing day one. Because of Nintendo, how Nintendo works, I can't back up saves and then just download all my stuff onto my Switch 2 when it comes out, so I'm going to have to basically hold on to my Switch and then do all that transfer stuff when I get it, but that's fine. I was going to keep playing my Switch anyway. And basically, yeah, man, like I'm full in on this. Everyone's already having the whole thing where the games are $80, $90 now. $90 for Mario Kart World is fucking crazy work, but
insane.
The content's definitely there. Like, that game's gonna be played forever, so like I'm not too worried about it as long as they don't ask us for fucking more money for DLC later. That's like the main thing right now.
Shit, they might though.
Yeah, shit, they might though. But in terms of just my initial impressions on this whole Direct and seeing the Nintendo Switch 2 in action, I'm just happy as a Nintendo fan that we finally have hardware that is able to play everything that's releasing. That's the main thing. That's my biggest takeaway from this whole Direct is we're fucking in the race now. Like, there's no more everything but Switch. Oh, sorry, Switch fans, you guys can't get this game. No, bro, we can get these games now. It's like, I'm very interested in seeing how developers are going to adapt their games to Switch 2, or how they're just going to get these games on these cartridges. Because now at this point, from what we're seeing, numbers and specs wise, these games can pretty much almost run everything that, like, I guess Xbox and PlayStation can to an extent. We'll have to see how intensely, but like third-party games, definitely. I'm not saying like we're gonna get ports of like Spider-Man 2, Miles Morales, and
Oh, no.
Spider-Man 1.
Could you
But, like,
imagine?
But dude, it'd be crazy. Like if we could get like Insomniac working with Nintendo, you know how crazy that would be if we can get games that are like as good as those
I
on
could
Switch.
I could see Ratchet and Clank make an appearance on Switch.
Dude,
I can actually see Spyro coming over.
Yeah,
But
Spyro,
it will-
like freaking Crash, like freaking Ubisoft might go under. We might get a good Rayman game on Switch too. Like there's, and
Ooh.
also we could fucking get Kingdom Hearts the complete story +4 on Switch natively. It doesn't have to be cloud play anymore. You can just have it on Switch now.
That shit was ass.
Like there's so many possibilities that just having this hardware being good is going to open up. Like Nintendo already had their own way of getting their games to look good regardless of the limitations. Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, ARMS,
Mhm.
Pikmin 4, all those games look fucking amazing for the hardware limitations. And the fact that we're about to get something that bumps up the quality of those games and the run potential of those games is amazing to me. I'm a Nintendo
Yeah.
fan, so I never cared about 4K anything. But the fact that I have the option now on my Nintendo console to push 4K something is just a cool luxury. It's just a cool commodity at this point.
So it's like I mentioned in the cave, and I mentioned as well. I believe I mentioned this during the court. Nintendo is punching above their weight class really hard because, like David said, Nintendo has always been like has never, and like I mentioned as well, Nintendo is not known for trying to compete with their contemporaries like PlayStation and Xbox, right? But seeing this and seeing that third-party games like sports games like the 2K series, be it WWE, Madden, or whatever the case may be, this is a big deal because, like I mentioned to Al earlier, the process, like bits aside about running the fade for the fucking Madden run back tournament on your Swole Edge on your Switch 2, that is a thing you can do consistently. So seeing that Nintendo is catching up and actually catching up to modern era, like finally, is a good sign. Like watching, like I'll have more thoughts about this as we go on, but I'll let David continue.
Yeah, like the fact that
this is his pony.
Yeah, like the fact that we have a console that can play, like, because you always had a Nintendo system not because you want to play third-party games. You get a Switch because you want to play Nintendo games on it. You're getting a Switch because you want to play Zelda, you want to play Mario, you want to play Splatoon, you want to play all this other stuff, and then all these other games are an afterthought. You happen to be able to get these games. You're able to get the Switch version of Hogwarts Legacy because it happens to be there. You get the Switch version of Crisis Core because it happens to be there. The fact that the Switch 2 can not only run Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, all these other games that are coming up, and also I'll be able to play Final Fantasy VII
I
on
was
this
just
fucking
thinking
thing.
that.
The fact that you'll be able to play Elden Ring on this bitch, the fact that we could maybe get fucking Monster Hunter Wilds to run on this fucking thing is insane to me. And
no, what's crazy is that like this system is trying to run Cyberpunk of all
the fact
games.
it can run Cyberpunk is crazy work. Like way past launch version, but like still, like, dude, if they optimize this for Switch 2 and it runs comparable, if not better than portable PC handhelds, is crazy.
Another thing I'm also going to go about saying here as well, because a game that is actually very taxing that a lot of people don't think about, Civ 7 being on Switch 2.
I saw that and thought of Al immediately. I'm like, the fact that you have mouse controls, you're basically playing the PC version.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'd like to see
that is such a heavy game for this.
Yeah, like I'd like to see how most games, like the comparison videos, are gonna be very, very interesting. Like, it's just gonna be proof of concept within the first month, within the first week, even. Like, there's gonna be so many whatever games are available on Switch 2 with Switch 2 versions and or just Switch 2 iterations. Street Fighter 6 on the Switch 2.
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
Street Fighter
Yeah.
6
my
on the
Street Fighter
Switch too.
6
I don't even have Street Fighter 6 on my Steam account to play on my ROG Ally. I just have it on my Xbox. If I was to get Street Fighter 6 on my Switch too, and it works just as well as on my Xbox, I'm playing Street Fighter on my Switch 2 exclusively, damn near.
No
Like,
excuse.
with
I'm-
amiibos.
We're running the fade, David.
Bro, it's
We're
gonna
running
be
the fade.
fucking crazy. If people can, the FGC can get fucking all the modern day fighting games on Switch 2, it's like Nintendo has always, like, the whole time with Switch 1 has been you get it for the first party games, and then everything else is an afterthought. And the reason that all of these portable PCs are coming out is because, one, you just want to have the ability to play your Steam library on the go, but also because the Switch was so ass, you can't play other games, and it's not reliable to get those games so you can play them on the go. The fact that the Nintendo was like, nah, nigga, we're here now. You can get all these games on Switch 2 at launch also. So now you can have Donkey Kong Bonanza and then just fucking tab over to Street Fighter 6 or Monster Hunter Wilds or Final Fantasy 7 or whatever the fuck. Do you know how powerful that is as a concept, as a thought?
Especially because
That's
when
crazy.
especially when the Steam Deck was announced, the FGC was like, all right, we could finally have a portable rig on the go. And I think early phases of like Guilty Gear Strive, for example, on Steam Deck, it was rough, but still doable. But games like the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, which runs on pretty much anything,
Yeah,
that game is
dude.
old, like that's phenomenal. And now that we have a secondary option, because remember the Marvel vs. Capcom collection is also available on Switch, and Switch games for the most, at least a lot of them are right now, are backwards compatible. The Switch games are compatible on the Switch too. That means that you're going to have an even smaller pocket fighting game machine ready to go.
Yeah, and it's like still the fact that they emphasize the Switch 2 does not get thicker; it's only bigger, and it's that means it is the thinnest, most compact portable gaming device still, and that is such a flex. If this thing proves that it can hold up to all of these third-party titles they're releasing and they're talking about, Nintendo won low key. They literally said, "Fuck you, we're getting our place back."
And here's a funny thing that came down to it, because we already know we're at this point now where the console war is dead. However, Nintendo said the war may be dead, but I just want to let y'all know that if it was still alive, we just won.
Yeah,
No,
for
they're
real.
back
like,
in.
They are fucking back with this shit. Like the fact that Wild Hearts is coming to Switch, it's like that's the closest thing you're getting to a modern Monster Hunter that's not Rise, which is already out, which I do hope that gets the performance increase. That's not Rise and or Wilds or World even. So
yeah, like even like Ubisoft putting Star Wars Outlaws on this thing, dude. Like it's the potential now. It is the potential that's opened up. If we can get fucking Marvel Rivals on this thing, bro. If we can get Call of Duty on this thing,
if the Switch 2 can confidently run Cyberpunk at a stable frame rate consistently, it can run anything at that point.
Dude,
you just got to optimize it right. Like, and that's a big reach.
I hope we can come out to this in a couple months, and I can say, watch Monster Hunter come out and say, come around June. By the way, for our next major update, we're coming to the Switch too.
Dude, I buy it immediately.
Honestly, you know what that is? That feels more like a Game Awards announcement or Summer Games Fest type thing. But regardless, if Capcom can find a way, because remember, Monster Hunter Wilds runs great on everything except PC. Because
it runs on the consoles just fine, yeah.
Runs on the consoles just fine. So with that being said, if the NVIDIA chip can handle what as long as, of course, the other caveat, as long as we don't have to fucking stream this shit online, if the hardware can handle it, like with Cyberpunk, if it can handle it successfully without shitting itself, that's going to be fucking big for Capcom to release Monster Hunter Wilds on the Switch. And if that's the case, I'm going to be real, that might tip me more to buy the Switch 2 a lot sooner.
Because then you just literally have a good, consistent version of Monster Hunter Wilds in your backpack. anywhere, at work, on the train, literally, fucking automobile, plane, anything,
I
bro.
was at work today, and I'm like, man, I really wish I had a backbone or like the Razer Kishi, the phone controller, because I would love to be able to just sit down on my break or when there's nothing going on, queue up Monster Hunter, play for like 20, 30 minutes, and then get back. I play for like 20, 30 minutes, get a quest or two in, then get back to work, right?
Mhm.
So, again, this opens up a lot of potential. Now, again, we're only seeing like effect to the extent of tech trailers of these games. We don't, and reviews from like sources like IGN and Engadget and the big outlets who got their hands on it during like this little period. We have to rely on their word of mouth if it's good or not. And once we get our hands on it, we have to actually see it and feel it to get a good gauge, get a good gauge on it. So, like I said, if Cyberpunk, one of the most notoriously bad running games on all consoles, if that can run stably and smoothly on the Switch 2,
they figured it out.
The floodgates are open. They figured it out.
Yeah,
I feel like if this runs smoothly, like honestly, if this just runs smoothly across the board, if I was Nintendo, I mean, if I was Xbox or PlayStation, I wouldn't necessarily be grabbing bricks, but yeah, I'll definitely be sweating. This would definitely be like this is a problem.
I would be I'd be fucking fearing the phone call from the investors saying, "What the fuck are you doing? Nintendo's gonna shit on us."
I would be fearing for my life as PlayStation and Xbox that the Nintendo Switch 2 logo does not show up in that Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer.
But for real,
if it does, that's gonna be evil.
Honestly, I'm more afraid for PlayStation because the PlayStation Portal is not a portable console in the sense that you can just load games onto it. You have to stream it over the internet. However, Xbox already had, like I mentioned earlier, I mentioned before the show, and like I mentioned in the last podcast, Xbox technically has a portable console in the form of Game Pass on your phone and on your portable PC, like your ROG Ally or your Legion Go. And news broke, well, this is some more rumors, but rumors broke out that the Xbox, news broke a couple weeks ago that Xbox is partnering with Asus, or finding a partner, well, now we know it's Asus, to make a portable handheld that's more themed around Xbox. Rumors are coming out today that system is likely just going to be a beefier ROG Ally. So there's going to be a ROG Ally 2nd gen that probably has more emphasis or more optimization for Game Pass for that side of the table.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, what we're looking at is that if when this, because Nintendo Switch 2 will do well, obviously. That being said, this is the time. This is the new space race to get portable consoles in people's hands and people's pockets that can run their games as good, like same quality, if not almost as good as if they were at home. So, Microsoft, if you're trying to make a handheld Xbox, now is the time. We know you're not going to give up on the hardware, even though you're mainly just a game service now. We all know that they're not going to give up on the hardware because that's still technically theoretical money that they can make to try and recoup the exorbitant amount of losses that their games division has incurred. But this will be a huge deal. What's up?
I know this would never happen, but imagine in the alternate universe if Microsoft and Nintendo came together and shake hands and say, take them down. We're announcing that the Xbox Game Pass is officially on the Nintendo Switch.
If I were Sony, I would shit bricks.
If we saw, no, dude, but if we started seeing Xbox talking to Nintendo, because they've already kind of talked before, but if we saw like the Halo collection, Master Chief collection come to Switch, if we saw Sea of Thieves, nigga, come to Switch,
Sea of Thieves on Switch would go really hard. It would go really, really hard.
But,
I don't know what Sony could do to even respond to that.
Nothing. Just cry.
Like right now, we're basically just talking like like I said, like the biggest thing to come out of this for me as a Nintendo fan is just the possibilities now. The fact that we can now just say we can have more games on this Nintendo console than just Nintendo games. We're in the third. We can play third-party games confidently in the current space that we're in, and I think that's the biggest takeaway out of this whole direct. But getting back on track a little bit here, let me just at least go through, like I said, the main highlights of the show. First off, being the lowest low, which is the game chat feature. So, Brendan, relax. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about this game chat feature that Nintendo announced. This was like last week they announced that there's or when they first showed the Switch 2, they mentioned that there was a C button, like a button with a C on it, on the right Joy-Con, and no one knew what it was for. A lot of speculation was going around. No one knew what it was, but they finally broke down what that was, and it is basically a chat button because Nintendo Switch 2 is having its own new version of what is remember the Nintendo Switch Online phone app where they were like, you can talk to your friends on the phone as if you don't fucking have Discord already, dumb fuck. So now they're like, oh no, yeah, we're doing something else, but instead of using Discord or working with Discord, we just have our own thing that's native on the system. So
when David said the C button, the first thing that came to my mind is like you press the C button and you see fucking Cripple Up just like dancing on screen, just see walking across the screen.
But yeah, it's pretty much a Nintendo party chat thing that they're trying to make native to the system. Nintendo doesn't really have its own party chat system. They tried to do the thing with the mobile phones, as if people don't have Discord on their phones already. That was a whole thing. So now they're trying to lean a little bit more into it, but have it more on the system. It is up to it looked like it could be 5 people in the same voice chat. But also you can stream your gameplay, not to Twitch, not to YouTube, but to this specific voice chat that you and your friends are in, and people can watch your gameplay in what looks to be 240p. 10 frames.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good. So this is what blew my goddamn mind, to be honest. Like, the concept is neat, but the way that they're really having the audacity to show us this during this direct for this new system that later on they told us has 4K 120 frames on all this shit HDR, but these game capture fucking streams that I'm watching are dog water. This stuff is ass, bro.
You can count the frames.
This is like the equivalent of being in a fucking Discord party and all your friends are on a McDonald's connection. This is disgusting.
McDonald's Discord Halo LAN party. Let's go.
This is terrible. They did a part in this where this girl was lost exploring in the open world on Mario Kart World, and she was like, "Oh yeah, look at my screen, nigga. What am I looking at? This is bad." Is it you or is it me? Or is it the system? I don't know.
Shit's like...
Bro, it's so framey. It looks... But then they flash it back to the person who's playing and their screen looks fine. But it's so framey when you're looking at these streams. And it's like, I don't understand why anyone would want to do... So this is me coming at this from the perspective of a person who... Here's the thing. I am coming at this from the perspective of a 31-year-old gamer who is currently streaming on Twitch and has a computer for gaming and has a Nintendo Switch hooked up to a capture card that can stream my Switch in 60p, 60 FPS, or up to 4K. I am fine. I will not be using this feature. However, if I had a kid or if I had younger gamers in my life and they were talking about using Discord in the wild, wild west of the internet, I will be like, no, you're going to use this. You're going to use Switch Game Chat, and you're going to talk to your friends who are also playing. You're not using Discord, bro. You are using Switch Game Chat with your friends, talking on the Switch in a controlled environment, because I don't want you on Discord. That's what we're doing. Also, unless we made a special server for me and my friends' kids, and they are all doing... Unless they had a special accommodation, we're not using this feature. It's a very specific use case. Imagine
you make the Discord for your kids and the parents, the gaming parents of the group, and it's just like, all right, let's go ahead and get started. And it's just come down for dinner. But you can force kick him off the call. It's like I said, time for dinner.
Just time out for like 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But like the thing is, like, as well, that I've been I've also been looking because I can't. This camera is the thing that's...
It's a $60 camera. It's a bad camera.
And it looks horrible. My camera, the camera I'm using right now, this camera, this is a regular Joe Schmo. I got this thing not for Twitch streaming. I got this bloody thing so I can actually use it for work calls.
And this
Thing
better.
cost me like $30.
Dude, I need to see the specs on that fucking. Actually, was it on the tech page, Brendan? The specs for this
For the
Nintendo
camera?
Switch camera? Hold on, let me check. I don't think it
No.
was. Let me
What I
check.
can tell, it looks. It might be on the product.
It
page.
wasn't. It wasn't.
It's probably like
Oh wait,
1080p,
accessories.
30 FPS.
I'm checking right now. I'm checking on the accessories page.
Yes,
$49
$30 for this crappy camera.
$49.99. It's a $49.99 USB-C camera. It says nothing about 1080p. It says nothing about.
So it's like 720p.
It's the
30
bare
FPS.
minimum, bro.
There we go. Because
bare minimum.
To put this in perspective, this camera, because I can actually get this
comparison. This is my other camera. This is actually my mirrorless camera. This is my professional camera. Like I said earlier, in theory, if it works out correctly, especially after enough testing, you can run shit like this through a USB-C, like HDMI to USB-C or mini HDMI to USB-C into the Switch, and you can have shit that looks like this. But alternatively, for the camera that I have, this one right here, this is the Logitech Stream Cam. I think I got like $40-ish, but it does 1080p. It does do 60 FPS. It's a little scuffed, but still works out perfectly fine.
Like I said, this camera I got right here, this is a 1080p, 30 FPS webcam with microphone, adjustable FOV, zoom, software control, etc., USB HD, $30.
Yeah,
and it looks better than the thing for the Switch.
A camera you would have got during COVID because you had to work remote.
Actually, I think I actually bought this in 2022.
Yeah, it's very interesting, but also like the point of the Nintendo Switch camera is also because Nintendo is going to be using that camera for specific use cases in terms of extra stuff for games. So there was an expansion with Mario Party Super Mario Party Jamboree, where they added Jamboree TV, which is pretty much Welcome Back Connect, I guess, where there's a whole bunch of full body motion capture modes that are included in this with special mini games. When you're playing the game, it'll show your face next to your character so you can see your friend's reaction when you steal their star from them in chance time. That's cute.
You get to see in real time the moment where one of our friends is about to say the most heinous slur because we stole his last star.
Yeah, I was talking to my Nintendo Creation friends, and it's like, this is great for content. No one's using this outside of that. This is great
This is like a couple
for
of
content.
YouTube videos.
That's so fucking funny. It's
so Just Dance 2026 gonna go crazy with that.
That is something. Someone did bring that up. This is like welcome back full body Just Dance though. That's like the only that I mentioned that and Aisha was like, shit, we might need to get that for that. Like, she's like but then it's like if we can use a regular webcam, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna get a better webcam.
Okay, so I know you're gonna get it, David. This is what we'll do. I'm gonna.
You said you know I'm gonna get it.
I know you're gonna get it. Yes.
I'm not buying this camera.
Not the camera, you dumb chuckle fuck. You dumb piece of shit. You stupid bastard. You rinky dink ass motherfucker. I meant the goddamn system.
Oh,
holy
duh,
shit.
obviously.
The offense.
I'm cold. I am offended. I am fucking angry. What the
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm clipping that.
What hit you? What I was trying to say, you dingleberry, is that you when you get your Switch 2, I do want to test out the theory of plugging in like my mirrorless camera via like a micro mini HDMI to USB-C. I'm pretty sure those connectors exist. Into it to see if it registers. If it does, congratulations. You got like a high quality camera you can just use.
Yeah.
Like that.
But no,
That's what I
fuck
was
Jamboree TV. I do not care about this at all.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Stupid ass fucking camera. But yeah, that the game chat feature was the lowest low of the show. I did not really care for that at all.
Yeah, it's like that is and again in a practicality sense where yes, people our age are savvy enough, and people our age are also having children. So we be depending on the age of the child, we'd be likely to try to make a separate, if the child knows about it as well, push them in a Discord that we moderate. But for the non-savvy people, I'm talking like probably like around my mom's age or older, who have like have like younger children or thing, or even millennials and people our age who aren't tech savvy, don't play video games. This is an easy setup because this does tie in tandem with Nintendo's parental controls, which is very, very well done. Because ideally, your kid and their friends would have an account made by their parents, and you'd be like, "Hey, look, fucking Jeremiah, Sarah, and Jasmine want to play with your kid on Switch. Are you cool with that?" And it's like, "Oh, hey, I know those kids," and like I talked to the parents about it. So we're gonna coordinate and get this all set up, so that way we can monitor their game time. We know they're talking to each other, and they're not talking to some fucking weirdos on the internet. So that's where I'd say the Nintendo game chat thing has its benefit. It's really for the casual people, but like you said earlier, for the savvy people who use Discord on a regular basis, we're not going to use that shit. Yeah. It's nice to have because it exists, but it is not necessary, at least for people of our caliber who know what the fuck we're doing.
Let's see. But outside of that, the games were going crazy. All games shown at this showcase are GOTY contenders for the most part. So starting off with Mario Kart World, didn't know whether we're gonna go with Mario Kart. I was pretty much keeping my expectations low because I didn't know what the fuck they were gonna ever do. Yeah, it's like we've had Mario Kart the same for so long. We've had the same specific version of Mario Kart for so long, and now we finally have a version of Mario Kart that has been Forza Horizon. This is a Forza Horizon, the Crew Motorsport, but make it Nintendo and Mario Kart.
Yeah, I actually want to talk about this as somebody who, for a very short amount of time, was going competitive with Mario Kart. This actually, one thing that I really, really like about this is not only is this the first open world Mario Kart game, like you said, like Forza Horizon-esque, but not to mention that one thing I really, really like is some of the modes they end up including with this. One was being the knockout mode. For those who aren't familiar with it, is so first and foremost, the amount of people who can be in this race, we're used to 12. This bumped it up to 24. Yeah, that is huge. Like, this is basically a battle royale of a. Get back to the cave.
Yeah.
This is basically a battle royale of a Mario Kart game, and something that's really cool that they end up doing is it's a knockdown thing. So if you don't, so it's like they have like a long race.
Knockout elimination.
Yes, but the thing is, like, so it'll be over the course of, I think, like 4-ish tracks, maybe 5. But the thing is, nothing that's cool is that all the tracks are interconnected.
Every single one.
I'm going to talk about the Grand Prix for that in a second, but for this is you're going through, and if you don't hit a certain placement, by the time you cross the checkpoint, you're out, you're knocked out, and it just keeps going until there's a first place winner. So, that mode is cool. But another thing that's really, really cool that I really, really like, and I want to see how this is going to play out, is the fact that with the Grand Prix, you can still do your 4 races in your 4 different spots for these cities, like for these tracks that's all interconnected. However, once the first race is done, it's not okay, we're going over to the loading screen, going to the next one. As soon as that race is done, you're racing to the next race.
Yeah, so basically I'm assuming so I was watching some Nintendo Treehouse a little earlier today where they're showing off the game, and what they did was they started a Grand Prix. The first race was on Mario Brothers Circuit, and that was a 3-lap race. And then after that 3 laps on that first track location, that next part of the race, or the next part of the Grand Prix, was a sprint to the next location, and then it included 1 lap on that next location. Then the next part of the Grand Prix was the sprint to the next location and 1 lap around the next location. So it's like a very interesting gameplay loop how they're doing that. But I'm also wondering if like they're gonna probably have special versions or special modes you can do. I'm pretty sure they will, where it's like each of these tracks also probably have different variations as well, since there's so many routes through. Because if you're noticing when they're showing the gameplay, is certain tracks have certain layouts depending on where the next track's gonna go. So it's kind of like with Mario Kart Tour, how that was when they had that in the Booster Course DLC, is they would have like London Sprint 1, 2, and 3, and it's the same general area of a track, but each route is different depending on the layout or the version of that track. So I think that's what they're going to do, and they're going to have it where it can be like, oh, we want to do like Toad's Turnpike or something, but we're going to do it this version of it or something. Like if you want to do single races instead of sprints, because that's pretty much what this is. It's just a whole bunch of sprints in
Yeah.
Mario Kart. But like I said, like in terms of the layout and the concept of the gameplay, from what we can see so far, because they're gonna have a Mario Kart World Direct next week, to go even more in depth on this game, because there's a lot they haven't mentioned or even shown yet. This looks amazing. Like I said, Forza Horizon, make it Mario Kart. Open world racing game, make it Mario Kart.
Dude, the fucking,
I'd love to see how big
costumes,
these.
though.
I'd love to see how big these lobbies can get. Like how many people we can have in the same world together.
A thing that's also, because like you said, there's so much that we don't know. Like for example, the costume changes. How does that affect how the gameplay
Or is it
works?
just purely cosmetic?
I'm hoping
Right.
it's just purely cosmetic that you can like unlock through challenges, but regardless, they look super good.
Yeah.
I think like one thing that would be really, really cool that I would like to see, because this would be a big game changer for the Mario Kart series in general. Since like they say, you could drive virtually anywhere. I wonder if they're gonna have it where there's certain cars that straight up better for off-road driving, but it's not as good for pavement driving. It's like, okay, you could take that shortcut and it's gonna work out for you because you built your car for this type of
You're not building cars anymore now. You're not building cars anymore. They're all their own individual cars now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you're not making cars anymore.
Yeah, because how it was in previous iterations, when you change, like I think off-road was a stat as well.
Yeah.
So usually the heavier characters like DK and Bowser with like the big ass tires, they're like high top speed, slow acceleration, but you can handle off-roading way better than someone like Toad, who's light class but has high acceleration, average top speed or low top speed. So yeah, no, it's going to be a big deal, especially when it comes to how that all works. And like just the mechanics of like, oh, you can just go ahead and just grind on rails now. I was like,
no, but like seriously,
yeah.
The player expression of driving and racing, like I said, go back and watch the Treehouse. If you have not seen the Treehouse, if you want to see this game being played, the player expression that will come out of people playing this game, people will be shit at this game for the first couple weeks because everyone's going to be... People will be playing this like they regularly play Mario Kart. They'll be staying on the road. But then it's like, there are grind rails now. There's walls to be considered. You can trick more than once in a jump. Like, there's a lot of elements to be seen. It's almost like, I've been calling it Mario Kart Core. Because it's like, you're not just following the route, you're literally doing... You're going to be watching me going straight, I'm going to fucking drift onto a rail, jump off that rail, right on the wall, fucking flip back. Like, we're going to... Dude, it's going to be insanity, bro. So...
You're gonna hit him with the fucking...
Dude, I can't wait. I cannot wait. And also,
what's crazy is that like this is coming out pretty hot after the Sonic racing game. So it's like kart racers are back, and it's insane.
But yeah, this is gonna be a GOTY contender, 1000%. Like this is gonna be going next to fucking man. The fact that this drops literally in like 2 months is crazy. And it's gonna have my ass, bro, because I haven't been in a Mario Kart like that in years, because it's just fucking Mario Kart. But this looks crazy, dude.
And we're never gonna see David
I'm gonna be exploring.
Again.
I'm gonna be exploring every nook and fucking cranny of each of these areas, bro. There's so much detail already in Mario Kart tracks, but the fact now it's like it's just an integrated space, and there's so much personality and everything. It's gonna be, and the music's gonna fuck. It's gonna fuck so hard. I can't wait, bro. I can't fucking wait.
You know this is gonna get a lot in long time support because, dude, if I'm not mistaken, up until I think about November of last year, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was still getting active support and patches.
Yeah, it literally just actually ended its support maybe like a year ago. So,
but like Mario Kart fucking Mario Kart Horizon, bro. Fucking this is their Mario Kart version of Forza, and it's gonna
Yeah.
be fucking insane.
There's so much. I can't wait till next week after they go off this director when they tell more information. But that's gonna be great. Speaking of racing games, also, fucking Kirby Air Ride's back, which is
Yeah.
crazy work.
After 20
Literally,
years.
no one
Out of
people
nowhere.
people hypothesized, people predicted, because Sakurai mentioned after he did his whole how to be a game developer series he was doing, he mentioned, yo, by the way, these were recorded 4 years ago. I've been working on a game. It should be out around this time. And
Dig a
that was
brain
like
play.
2 months ago. And then he was like, then the fact that the game he's been working on, and apparently I looked into it, the last game he personally directed and was hands-on with next to Smash was Air
Yeah,
Ride.
this is HAL Labs is his baby.
Yeah, so like the fact that, because I thought he was working on, helped them work on like Forgotten Land, but now he didn't work on that. He was working on just Smash and chilling, and now working on Air Ride. So the fact that we're getting another Kirby Air Ride, which is one of the cult classic racing games from the GameCube era, it is one of the most. It's one of those expensive games on a GameCube.
You're the one of
Like,
those
if you
rare
can't-
ass games.
Yeah,
Mhm.
dude, and it's such a fucking phenomenal time. And of course, the main thing everyone is really looking forward to seeing in modern day is what the fuck City Trial is going to be. Because
That's
City
gonna go
Trial was the multiplayer mode. It's 4 players. You're in an open city. You can hop off the air ride machines. You can get new air ride machines, and then you're getting your stats boosted basically for at the end of the match. You are doing some weird ass, wild ass mini game based on your stats, and the winner is from off of that. It was only 4 players. 4
Yep.
players, hours and hours of fun. But let me tell you, if they can gamify this to get, like, say, 16 players in City Trial in a fucking huge ass space, that's gonna be, and like, I think City Trial could be maybe like, I think fucking 10 to 30 minutes, depending if you set the timer.
Easily.
I
But
mean, it's just fun.
Honestly,
It's just goofy fun.
What's funny is that City Trial, like OG City Trial, is a precursor to Smash Run
yeah,
from Smash 3DS.
Mhm.
Like, and I love that idea of like, okay, run around a map for like fucking 5 minutes, gather some power ups, and then have like a free for all, and you end up fucking having like a Ganondorf with max power, damn near one-shotting everything. And it's just like that shit's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
So seeing this game come back, like, I guarantee you, so many people are fucking crying right now.
Dude,
This
I
is
was fucking
this is-
losing my mind, bro.
This is like
'cause-
this is such a good release, and like it makes sense. It does make sense for this game to come back. Like if there's any point in time Kirby Air Ride is going to come back, now is the time. Anytime. Yesterday was the best time, but now is even better time.
I need to ask because I know exactly when I realized this was going to be Curry Air Ride or Air Riders, shall I say now. David, when did you realize that this was going to be Air Riders?
I didn't know until I saw the engine on the star, because that's like, who the fuck would have, like, you want to hope, right? You want to hope until you see the engine pop on the back of this star. You're like, is this just an open world big ass Kirby game? Because that'd be cool as shit if it was. I'd love to see the concept, but the fact that it's just Air Ride again, or Air Riders returning, I'm over the moon, bro.
Honestly,
and it comes out this year, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
All I gotta say is this: imagine they put Kirby in Mario Kart.
I don't even know what the fuck I'd say. To be honest, I don't know what the fuck I'd say.
I mean, if you think about it, because they've already done, characters that's not Mario characters.
Yeah, they did
in there because they brought over Link, they brought over Inkling, they brought over Isabelle and the Villager.
Later, yeah.
So yeah, I would not be surprised if they said like, okay, we're just gonna go ahead and throw in the Kirby in here.
And the fact that we had Kirby Star Allies on the Switch, which is basically a celebration of that era of Kirby, which had pretty much every partner character he's ever worked with ever, and also all the enemies in the same game, all playable. That was like a celebration of that specific era of Kirby, and now we're on the new one, which is 3D games. If we were to get that many characters as Air Ride playable characters, as support characters, because I mean, obviously you want to play as Kirby and Kirby Air Ride, but you could also play as like Meta Knight. You could also play as DDD.
Waddle
But to
Dee.
see other guest
Do
characters in
that. Give
Air
me my
Ride
Waddle Dee.
would be really. Oh yeah, Bandana D on a fucking Air Ride machine would be so cute. But yeah, like the fact that it dropped with a window of 2025 and we don't know anything else other than that, and there also was no demo at the Nintendo event. I don't know when this is dropping.
It's got to be
Even if
holiday.
they were to say it's getting pushed to 2026, the fact that I know this is coming is just amazing. We're getting Rhythm Heaven, Tomodachi Life, and Kirby Air Ride back on the Switch 2. What the fuck's going
Tomodachi
on?
Life is one.
Not to mention, finally we're getting Metroid Prime. Metroid
And Metroid Prime 4 is dropping, bro. What the fuck's going on? Like, we're living dreams right now, bro.
Nintendo single-handedly said, they put their fucking dick on the table. They said, nah, it's over.
Speaking of
There's somebody I watched called Professor who plays a lot of Tomodachi Life. And he's actually one that actually got me like, you know what? I never played it. I wouldn't mind playing it. And seeing this come on like, I guess that means it's just a sign.
Tomodachi Life
so
on the
silly.
Switch. It's like Tomodachi Life on the Switch should have happened a long time ago because it's like the perfect social game to play with your friends. So, or at least just to fuck around with me's. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely happy to see this make a fucking comeback. Like, this is fucking great. Speaking of comeback and Kirby, let's talk about the GameCube Virtual Console for a second.
Okay.
Because what?
Yeah, I honestly, when they were like, more's coming in Nintendo Switch Online, I was like, it's GameCube games. It's got to be GameCube games. And
It
it's
has
GameCube
to be.
games. And
like,
mhm.
we're not getting a GameCube Classic. It's good to see that we're getting these. However, they would make infinity more money if they say, hey, here's a GameCube Virtual Console. These are the games that are out now. And then you could buy these games out like $10 a pop or $15, $20. Fucking, I would buy like the games.
You could charge $30 for Wind Waker and people would pay it.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I would.
Like,
Definitely would.
Because we got OG Wind Waker, we got fucking
Soul Calibur
F-Zero
2.
GX and Soul Cal 2. I popped off.
Soul Calibur
I'm like,
2 is
yo,
crazy work.
because like the only way you could play Soul Calibur on Soul Calibur 2 is Soul Calibur 2 HD, I believe, on Xbox 360.
So it's lost to time.
Xbox One.
It's lost to time.
It's lost to time. And everybody remembers the Soul Cal 2. They remember Link. They only remember Link.
Yep.
So the fact that that's back is great. And then seeing F-Zero GX come back is astonishing because they have not made a new F-Zero game since this one.
And not to mention, this has the story mode with it as well.
Yeah, this always had the story mode. Like this game, the story mode was kind of fucking stupid, but the fact that this game is a modern, the most modern F-Zero game, which fun fact, this was made by the Yakuza studio, RGG Studios.
Oh wow, it was?
Same niggas. And they have not touched this game since. Because Nintendo was like, shit, Sega did our game better than we did.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
also, I'm looking at
Toshihiro Nagoshi directed this game.
Also, I'm looking at, not to mention two things I want to touch on real quick when it comes down to this. One, looking back at Wind Waker, I wonder if this is the HD remake. Reason I'm asking is because
it's the OG port.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the reason I was asking that was because in the HD remake, they ended up adding in the Swift Sail, which made traversing the map a lot easier.
No, it's the GameCube version. People are saying it's probably a licensing reason why they can't get the HD version over for some reason.
Which is weird. So what it probably is that it's likely, if it's a licensing thing, it's got to be with like whatever
company ported it.
Yeah, because remember this was ported on the Wii U. So whatever support company worked on it, they probably don't have the license for it, which is kind of awkward considering that, this is a Nintendo IP, but it's probably up there with like why we haven't gotten DK64 yet. Because
maybe
DK64 was developed by Rare, but published by Nintendo because it's their IP, and we haven't gotten that yet because Microsoft owns Rare. So we don't know. Another thing I popped off on was Mario Strikers. The OG Mario Strikers, man. Yep. And like with that having online capabilities as well too. Oh, it's fucking over.
I hate motherfuckers the hands, bro.
I want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly, David. Is this only for the Switch 2?
Yes.
Or is it available on Switch? God damn it. That's what makes me mad too.
Yep.
It's like
but also
you lock that behind the Switch 2 because the Switch can handle it just fine, but okay, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, Gales of Darkness rings a strong bell.
I'm really surprised to see that and Pokemon Coliseum on here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
See, the big reason Gales of Darkness holds such a big thing for me is because it's what introduced me to my favorite Pokemon, Umbreon. Like, so with Gales of Darkness giving you an Eevee as your starter compared to anybody else an Eevee as your starter, and then me involving that with a Dust Stone, with a Dust Stone, which obviously that's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is what introduced me to Umbreon being my favorite Pokemon of all time.
Yeah, and
So I love seeing that.
Yeah, that and Pokemon Coliseum. I feel like that's kind of similar in the same vein of how they were able to get Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue Team onto the GBA Virtual Console. Because it's like everyone's like, oh, that's a good Pokemon game, but you'd expect Pokemon Company to do something about it instead of Nintendo. But they're like, oh, I guess we do technically have the rights to it, so we can basically just put that out whenever we want to, which is amazing. So I'm happy that I'll finally be able to play Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness without using up a whole 50 blocks on a GameCube memory card to fucking get the game. And also, one thing that's really amazing, which is in a way, in its own weird Nintendo way, consumer friendly, the most consumer friendly thing they could have possibly did. I heard this mentioned on the MinMax show from one of their podcast panelists. She owns a gaming store, so she knows the price of these games secondhand. Every game that they're dropping within the first year of GameCube classics is at least $150 and or more money. Secondhand used. No fucking box. Chibi Robo is $200 in a box.
I haven't played that game since it came out.
Chibi Robo is so fucking hard to find, bro. It's ridiculously. Same thing with Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. That game is at least like $80. Strikers, that game's probably 60. Luigi's Mansion, maybe 55, 60 to 80, depending on what place you go to. Pokemon Coliseum, that game is like 90. They are giving us expensive games on GameCube firsthand.
And another crazy thing that they're also doing with this still baffles me. It's the fact that it also has GameCube support. So they are releasing a GameCube wireless controller for the Switch for this in particular.
Yeah,
so that's honestly baffling that that they did this.
And this begs the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to touch on the new GameCube controller, it is a Switch 2 controller because it has the chat buttons and is also wireless with USB Type-C. Now then, this begs the question. Remember when 8-Bit Dough came out with the fucking mod kits for this shit? Will those kits work with the Switch 2?
You mean for like to replace the buttons and stuff?
Yes. It's like to basically
it's the same exact shell, pretty much. You just gotta
Here's the thing. It likely might work because Bluetooth, but I'm curious. Because you're going to miss the chat button, but if you don't care about the chat button, you can keep your case in point, David. You could modify your Wavebird with like Hall effect sticks and more modern buttons to work on the Switch.
If everything's the same shape, basically. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Be very interesting.
Because all they did with this is that they had the same, like just looking at it at a glance, I tore it apart in my brain. They have a modified version of their OG GameCube controller, like same shape PCB. They slapped a battery and a USB-C connector on the bottom side, on USB-C connector on the top, battery on the bottom with the indicator LEDs, and then fashion a hole for the fucking chat button. So, in theory, any Bluetooth controller that's compatible with the Switch should be able to work with the Switch too. Yeah. So, in theory, if you modify your controllers with the 8-Bit Dough conversion kits, you can have a modern OG GameCube controller that works for shit like this.
But also, another thing that's cool is in terms of compatible hardware that works with Switch 2, if you still have your GameCube adapter with the double USBs and you have GameCube controllers lying around, those will still work.
I was kidding.
You can still use your GameCube controllers with this.
I mean, all they are is just inputs. So basically, in a sense, Al, now that we have full confirmation that the Switch 2 supports the GameCube controller layout with those controls, that means that the USB input off of the dock will be able to support it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, man. I'm really hyped for the potential for this because now everyone's just like, We're getting Mario Strikers. This opens the floodgates to we get Mario Power Tennis, Mario Baseball, and Mario Toadstool Tour.
Yeah.
Because those are like the best Mario sports games ever created, and they're all on GameCube. Could we get Star Fox Command and Star Fox Adventure? Could we get Billy
That'd be
Hatcher
cool.
and the Giant Egg again? Could we get fucking... There's so many fucking bangers on GameCube.
I'm willing to bet that like Sega would happily work with Nintendo.
They would
get the rights
love
for
to put
Billy
them on
Hatcher.
there. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, Mario Baseball, and then it's just fucking crazy. And then one more thing. Speaking of local play and sharing, something I want to touch base on a bit. This is a feature that was, I think they announced this. Well, this was announced today during a direct. If it wasn't today, I know it was announced earlier. Where Nintendo Switch 2 has game sharing similar to how the 3DS had it, where
DS download play. Yeah.
So basically, to summarize, so we were talking, we were teasing on this earlier. So let's say, case in point, David has Dragon Drive, and it's like, all right, I have Dragon Drive. Who wants to play? Because I think it only does up to 4 consoles. Like 4 consoles can share at the same time. So you can run a 2v2 set of Dragon Drive, all off of David's copy, and then it'll share to Al's Switch, if I were to get a Switch 2, my Switch, Puffball Switch, like we could all play at the same time and have our 2v2 games.
Yeah, they're really bringing back DS download play, dude.
So now, especially with this, especially with games like now, David, you can force us to play Hanafuda because
dude, I'm
it's
so
supporting
fucking
the
happy
game
about
pad.
that. I'm so happy.
It supports the 51 games, so you can just go ahead and just do that with all the other consoles.
Yep. I'm real happy about
more
that.
games are getting support, but this is a huge deal. So you got the local game share, and of course, then you have the remote game share where I can, case in point, I can borrow David's copy of, let's say, I don't know, Tears of the Kingdom. Borrow that on my Switch for that time period, and then once I'm done with the game, or if the time runs out, then either I can refresh or be like, all right, I think I have my fill.
Oh, the virtual game card thing.
Yes, so the virtual game card. So the virtual game card and game share, that's big. Like that this is something that should have been available a lot sooner. However, this is a gigantic push to make this the most accessible console, especially for at least for older titles. So that way, like I said, people like David and his Nintendo friends are likely to get the Switch 2 day and date, if not sometime in that range. That way, we can still play the same games together.
Mm-hmm.
At least the games that are compatible, I should say.
Yeah, this is a very cool idea with the whole game share thing. It's like I said, just bringing DS download play back, where you can pretty much just be like, yo, I have this game. Do you have it? No. Cool. We can still probably if this works with Mario Kart World, and you can just do a local multiplayer game or a DS download play for or I'd rather say I'll Switch download play with Mario Kart World, or even Street Fighter 6 or stuff like that. That'd be so cool. Of course, with limitations, because someone doesn't have the game. That's how it was with DS as well. But yeah, the fact that they're doing that with the digital games is really interesting.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Let's before we go into the last thing here, I want to bring up, like we mentioned, the potential of what the Switch 2 having its specs opens up. And the biggest example of this is the biggest bomb that was dropped for a lot of people. We saw Elden Ring was getting ported. That's
which is
cool.
insane, by the way.
But we're getting an original exclusive title from Software that is called Duskbloods, which is pretty much, I mean, everyone's looking at it. This is just Bloodborne, but not. This is the Bloodborne vibes, but not.
Night Ring.
Yeah, dude, Bloodborne, but put it on the Elden Ring engine. And it's an original IP from Software. It has all those Bloodborne, all those Souls-like vibes that you love so much, all the Bloodborne vibes that you love so much, all the Elden Ring vibes, but it's just on Switch 2 exclusively. This is not confirmed coming to PlayStation 5. This is not confirmed coming to Xbox.
Oh, goodness no. This is a Switch exclusive. If it does come to later systems, other platforms, it won't be for a while.
Do you know?
I legit thought this was Night Rain because it showed
I did too at first, yeah.
But I'm like, no, this is an original Souls-like IP for the Switch 2. Now, I will say this. games like Elden Ring are as massive as they are, and with the floodgates being open for the potential that this thing can handle, it's not a super graphically intensive game like From Software games graphically intensive with the exception of Armored Core because a bunch of shit is happening lightning speed. From Software games are not the prettiest. However, this is going to go fucking crazy because we've never had a Souls-like on the Switch. So, and this is combining elements from Elden Ring with, like I said, they had the fucking dinosaur transformation, like the transformation magic. It has bits of Bloodborne. It has crazy bits of like steampunk era aesthetic. It's kind of all
There's
over the
so
place.
much in this thing.
And we don't and like with every Souls game, every Souls-like game, we don't know. And people are going to pick this trailer apart. Could this, and like I'll say this, could this be a Bloodborne successor or parallel universe type thing? But from what we know, this is going to go insane, especially for the FromSoft fans. So again, I am really curious how well Elden Ring runs on the Switch 2. If it runs like with Cyberpunk, if it runs at a stable frame rate off the dock, this is the caveat I'm having here. Off the dock, runs stable, like it does either the full 120 hertz or above 60 and stays above 60 FPS. Dude, this is going to make a lot of people go to Nintendo. Like a lot. And this opens the door for indie devs to bring their games over to Switch 2 and help optimize with it better. And so many third parties. Like fucking Cyberpunk. Remember, for chat, in case you don't, for new listeners, new viewers who don't really remember, Cyberpunk was a disaster on launch. And it took up until Phantom Liberty for the game to be in the most playable state that it's currently in. And even then, it's kind of dodgy sometimes. So throwing that, now take that fucking bag of worms and that concoction and throw it on the Switch, a portable console that's not really known for having horsepower. If Cyberpunk is optimized well with whatever dev kits that they got from Nintendo, this is gonna be a game changer. This is gonna give the portable PCs a run for their money.
Now, another thing that we also need to put some respect on. Two things, because they were both small, even though they're just so we actually go ahead and put some respect on them. One of which is something that the fans have been waiting for a long time, which was Silk Song finally
Dude, it was so quick. I keep fucking forgetting it was in there. It was very quick.
It was like a 5-second clip.
We don't have a date, but we have a window.
We got an updated window.
This year.
It took them all these years.
So that's interesting. So Silk Song finally come out. I actually see. So I don't follow Hollow Knight. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just not for me because I like to play a game where like I have a goal of what I'm trying to do. Where Hollow Knight is a, explore and find out. But I remember seeing a video that popped up on YouTube right afterwards of them saying 1,500 something days since the last update. And they said, I clicked on it, they said, what's that alarm? Oh, yeah, it's just an alarm for when you get Silk Song news. Hey, wait a second.
Yep. No, what's funny, Al? This is the same thing that happened with Bayonetta 3. Before that game came out, it was like day 2,000 something of average for Bayonetta 3 news. There is no news. And then like when Bayonetta 3 got launched or announced, there was like, holy shit, we have an announcement. So it's going off of that. Remember, this game was announced in 2019. So they have 6 years to make up for. And that's if it comes out this year. So they
said it was this year. So hopefully.
Again, I'm skeptical because games have done this. Silk Song, Team Cherry has done this. They said, oh, it's going to come out this time. It gets pushed. It got pushed 6 years. So with that being said, and they're still technically an indie company. And also remember, fun fact, this game is a backer reward. So if this game did not, they had to get a lot of pressure because if this game did not come out And if this game got canceled, so many people will be angry, and that will ruin the goodwill and reputation of Team Cherry. As good as Hollow Knight is, I've never played it, but from what I've seen people play and what I know people talked about it, Puffball in the chat and could definitely testify and scream from the high heavens. It is a great Metroidvania-like game. But it's been so long that so many other Metroidvanias have come in and taken that spot. Case in point, Blade Chimera, a game I played. I played the demo and talked about it on our stream like some weeks ago. Very fantastic Metroidvania with interesting concept. Prince of Persia Lost Crown, a AAA Metroidvania, right? Fucking Metroid, the newest Metroid Dread. The newest Metroid Dread. I don't say Metroid. Yeah. I don't say Metroid Prime Echoes. Wrong game. Metroid Dread, the OG in the fucking the Metroid and the Metroidvania genre came out, and that game was.
We've had a lot of things come out between then and there.
We had a lot of things come out between here and there, and like honestly, I'm still skeptical. It's going to do well, but it's going to do well because
work if it turns out it's exclusive on Switch too.
Oh, that would be
crazy.
Crazy
work. That'd be bad.
Or at least exclusive on Nintendo, like Nintendo specifically.
I would say if anything, I'm calling exclusive launch because remember,
launch, yeah.
OG. I'm looking at my Hollow Knight poster that I have right here. It launched on PS4 and Switch only, and then it came to other platforms later.
Yeah, so I can see this. Yeah,
I would see if. Honestly, with Xbox having their hands on the trailer and Switch Nintendo.
Oh yeah, true. Chat said it was announced for Game Pass a while ago. But I mean, things have happened. That was like 2-3 years ago. Things have happened between then. Nintendo could have hit them up and been like, "Yo, we're gonna outbid Xbox. You guys come to us."
Xbox gave you $1 million. We'll give you $1,001. Get over here.
But that and another one that really flew under the radar for a lot of people. Project 007.
Oh yeah, the James Bond game? Ooh, that's gonna be nuts.
Yeah. So the thing is, we haven't had a 007 game since 2012. It's been 13 years since the 007 game came out, and they just randomly drop in the middle of a Nintendo Direct.
Here we go. Let me see. When was the last fucking 007 game? You're right. 2012. 007 Legends. So with that being said, okay, so for those who aren't aware or those who forgot. The same people who made the Hitman World of Assassination games and the more modern Hitman games are working on a James Bond game. And that's going to be amazing because they've done great work with Hitman and them working on James Bond. Honestly, it's a fucking knockout. It is a home run. We don't have a date. We don't have a trailer. All we have is an announcement trailer. We don't have any information. But the fact that this is coming to all platforms, including the Switch 2, is going to be fascinating to see this kind of play through. And fun fact, I'm not sure if you peeped it, Al. Remember, Amazon owns the 007 license, and that's on the end card in the fucking credits. I was like, oh shit. So Amazon owns the rights to James Bond. They bought out the rights like earlier this year, like not earlier this year, like a month or so ago. So. That's definitely on our radar.
Because you look, like I was already sounding like, oh wow, we're getting a Hitman here, and all of a sudden they show us I just see the bullet in the frame. I'm like,
that's all you need.
No, it's not gonna do it. Then I started seeing the curves,
rifling on the barrel. I'm like, it's almost shot for shot the exact same announcement trailer they had at like the Summer Games Fest a couple years ago. Except they added like another animation ahead of that. Regardless, I'm curious to see how this works. And again, this opens the door for big games to fucking come out swinging. Speaking of coming out swinging, let's talk about my boy, my man, fucking DK. Back at it again with a new adventure with the fucking power of Toon Force. This game, like watch it. I saw once I finished the direct. This is the last gotcha at the end, and David was like, "Oh, you're gonna get you're probably gonna get a Switch 2, Brandon, because what they announced to do Donkey Kong." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna get a Switch 2 right away." I'm still holding firm on that. I am not getting a Switch 2 on launch. Maybe next year. But the fact that we have DK Odyssey, I'm super hype. I am in love with his new design. It's like they ripped him out of a fucking cartoon and just threw him in engine. He looks a lot more fuzzy, like actually like more furry and actually more better texture. I do love like how he has like, you know how Sonic has like the kind of like how his eyes is like big ass goggle basically. It's kind of like that. It's very reminiscent of his classic design. And just seeing DK move and bounce around is so sick, and he's just so destructive. It's so cool. It's so fucking cool. He's just punching through he's Minecrafting his way through the dirt.
Terraforming.
He's like just terraforming the earth with his hands, and it's so good. This is like the most bouncy and expressive that DK has ever looked since Jungle Beat.
Yeah, dude.
And that's a pull.
Like, I was just gonna say, I love the expressions on his face, the way he looks around. Like you can tell, like okay, he's angry, but you can also tell, like he is just having fun doing what he does right now.
I would kill for one of two things: a DK show with this DK, or a big ass DK plushie because he's so cute.
I mean,
I love it.
Nintendo's kind of doing a whole thing where they're trying to push DK right now. Like they have the DK world added to Universal. DK's in the Mario movie. DK's a big character in the Mario movie, and apparently DK's getting his own movie in like the next like 5 years. So
Actually,
as he should.
Yeah, and it's like this version of DK. So they pretty much reworked the whole bro. Like
I just love how DK looks. It's so good. They did my boy justice. It makes me so fucking happy.
And the fact that this game drops a month after the Switch launches. We're going to be playing this game in 3 months, and that blows my goddamn mind. You would think this would be a holiday game. This isn't the fucking holiday game. So what the fuck's the holiday game? That's what the fuck I'm saying, bro.
A holiday game's got to be Kirby Air Riders. It has to be.
Yeah.
Again, I know I keep saying... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Apologies. Because, like, correction. Pokemon Zos coming out.
Pokemon's going to be probably October-ish.
October?
Early
okay.
That's the only way to do that.
So that's going to be the holiday season game. Because it's not going to be another Smash unless like they say, hey,
well, that's like
Smash,
the Pokemon thing. That's Pokemon's going to do Pokemon things. This is going to be like Nintendo's thing.
I would say if anything, because with this having Mario Kart, because you would think it'd be Mario Kart, but no, it's got to be Kirby Air Riders or
maybe Metroid comes out around that time. Maybe
Metroid,
Kirby and Metroid, maybe.
Yeah, it's gonna be so fucking insane. I just can't wait to see more footage of this, and then eventually getting my hands on it myself because this game looks amazing, and I want.
Speed runs of this are gonna be fucking hilarious.
Crazy. Yeah,
I can't wait to see this at GDQ next year. Be like, all right, here we go. We got Raves $100,000 for cancer and playing fucking DK Bonanza, just speed running, and DK just clips through the earth. It's gonna be so.
And again, to show how much I love this current design of DK, you know, I actually forgot that DK doesn't wear clothes besides his tie. It even occurred to me about the fact that he's currently wearing overalls.
As soon as I saw him in those overalls, I was like, "What the fuck are they doing?"
He was thong out. Now, what's funny is that like with him wearing the overalls, someone I think I was talking to a friend of the show, Ringwolf, about this. It wasn't Ringwolf, it was somebody else. About what if this isn't DK? What if it's Kiddy Kong grown up? Because he's always he's always like been like in his onesie. So like it realistically it's not, but it will be cool if it's like, okay, this is a massive time jump. Fucking Kiddy Kong is taking up the mantle and beating the shit out of people, and it's just like this is so fucking good. Like I want more DK games like this, please. This is really fun.
It's gonna be great. Great, dude.
Even like I look at the end of the trailer, he's just like his expression catching the boulder. He's like, ah, shit! Like it's so good. Like,
makes me think of that ad from the meme where like the Game Boy falls on DK and his eyes
fall
out of it.
Oh wait, I got you, David. I fucking got you.
Oh, great heavens!
Yeah.
And I love the expressions on him. I really, really, really love the expressions.
DK really did steal the show at the end.
Yeah, when we first saw the Mario Kart teaser from the Switch first look, and everyone will notice that DK looked different. Everyone was starting to feel a type of way because they were like, "Oh, I like how DK looks now. Why are they doing his look?" But now that we're seeing this version of him in motion, yeah, I'm sold on it. Like, it's a lot more expressive. It's silly and goofy. It matches the vibes of Nintendo. Like I
It's so
mentioned in
good.
like my fucking Blue Sky post. The last DK was cool and strong. This one's cool and has Toon Force, bro. This one is like no thought in that fucking head except ooh banana, and I'ma
Head
punch it.
empty banana.
Head empty banana, I'ma punch it. Like,
Like, case in point, look at this shit. Like, DK, this is my boy. This is my
Mhm.
boy. And I'm so happy to see that, like, they've done him so much good justice over the years. I know they're gonna have amiibos, no fucking
the
shit.
amiibo for him is
But
gonna look so cool.
but it's just like I once I get my Switch 2, this is gonna be game number 1. Guarantee. I will pay the extra money, which not sure if we covered the cost, by the way.
This is an $80 game.
No, not just that, but the cost of the console, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Console MSRP is base console, no games, just the system, is $449.99 USD. Your currency may vary if we have any international viewers. Now, the console with a game, I think it's called Mario Kart Worlds. So the titular Mario Kart bundle, the expected Mario Kart bundle, $499 USD. That's hefty. Like, as I was mentioning to David, here's a comparison point. Actually, I can read this up too.
You're looking at PS5 pricing?
No. No. Fuck. I'm just kidding. Okay, here's a comparison. The Asus ROG Ally, a game system that David has, runs for about $150 more. You're getting the top end Asus ROG Ally, which is a PC in your hands. But the base version, like the de facto simple base level version, is $400 cheaper than the Switch 2. Remember, the ROG Ally is a computer. It is a full-on computer you can put in your pocket. The Switch 2 is $50 to $100 more. So that's a huge deal. And I think the PS5 right now is like fucking $400. Here we go. PlayStation 5. All right, here we go. So the digital edition, a PS5 Slim digital edition, is going for the same price as the base system of the Switch 2, which is $450. That's no disc tray. With the disc tray, it's about the same price, like close to $500 between the Switch and the PS5. So right now, Nintendo is punching their weight class in system cost, because this costs the same price as a portable handheld, maybe a really budget PC if you build it right or spec it out right. The console PC and handheld PC. It's competitive. It is. Nintendo is swinging for the fences. And the only caveat here is that Nintendo unfortunately has joined with I'm sorry. Political state of the world aside, with the fucking tariffs and all that shit, Nintendo has also jumped on board with the $80 price tag for these games. Like a lot of their newer games, like DK is going to be an $80 game. Mario Kart's going to be an $80 game. Fucking
90
Kirby Air Riders. Yeah. Kirby Air Riders is going to be an $80 game. You get the idea. And that's steep for Nintendo. Normally they stick around the $50 to $60 range. So your wallet's going to be hurting, especially once you buy just getting the system. Now, a lot of games are still compatible, and during the direct, they also showed off that games like Kirby Forgotten Land is Forbidden Land, and its expansion, you can upgrade your version by paying like a premium to get basically get, especially with the digital version, you can upgrade to get the Switch 2 version that has the performance enhancements, that has the 4K support, the 1080p 120 hertz support, all that fun shit. So that is, and they're going to add more games like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Which, one more thing I want to touch on, which is really cool. Shout out to Contrast, because this is up his alley because he is the Zelda guy. The companion app for Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, where it can navigate you to collectibles, to objectives and shit like that. That's cool. I love
Gave you
that.
straight up GPS.
No, for real. They gave you fucking Garmin in your goddamn Zelda. Also, didn't get a chance to mention this earlier. There's a new fucking Zelda Hyrule Warriors game coming out. Age of
Yeah,
Imprisonment.
and it's technically a prequel to
And-
Tears of the Kingdom because it takes place in the past where Zelda got taken.
So with that being said, it's just like, are we gonna have a Zelda Dynasty Warriors game that doesn't run like dog shit? Maybe.
I saw that trailer. The first thing that came to my mind is, so why does she need saving?
For real, she was beating ass.
But yeah, like really quick touching on the Zelda stuff too is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are both getting Switch 2 editions. They're doing Switch Online owners a solid, and they're making those two versions if you have expansion pack free. So I'm gonna get those upgrades for me. But the main thing that they did, which sold me, which is the whole thing, Korok Forest and Breath of the Wild, is the worst running part of that game. And they showed it running in a smooth 60 or to 120 frames with HDR, all that stuff. I'm like, bro, this game looks so good and it runs so well. I might just play the game again. Like I literally.
I'm curious to see how for Tears of the Kingdom looks, because with them running on faster hardware, the game doesn't load instantaneously like how it does with the solid state technology on PlayStation and Xbox. However, this game, like especially Tears of the Kingdom, that game's gonna look phenomenal.
Yeah, dude.
In 4K.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this game looks in modern day. It just goes to show, like, man, like even games like that, it's like my whole little like Nintendo fucking fanboy thing is like, even though Nintendo's charging this much for their games, out of any developer, out of any company, I would not care as much paying the money they're asking for their games, because they're worth that amount of money, because they have that much content in them and they are evergreen. Like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong, like these games, like there's a reason Nintendo games never drop in price, because they're that good. They are literally like, that's me grifting, that's me fucking glazing for Nintendo. But in my opinion, like that, like I think it's worth it for that. Personally, like Mario Kart World, that game's gonna get bought out fucking forever. That game's gonna be played for forever. Like the whole time from the Switch 2 launch to the Switch 2 death, that thing's gonna stay on my system, and I will be playing it often. So I'm like, the only thing is like, I hope they don't fucking ask too much for DLC. That's like the main thing I'm hoping for, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's how I feel as well. It's like, if we're gonna be charging a premium, like I mentioned this on my Blue Sky as well to like one of my other friends, is that we're at the point in the industry where like everything is just trying to fucking micromanage and fucking micro monetize every fucking thing, and the game's base price is gone up significantly. So with Nintendo, I'm willing to bet that they, like, while they won't make, like, for example, for Mario Kart World, while the expansions are not going to be free, I guarantee you that they're going to add, at least unless you're a Nintendo Switch Online, like the premium, like that pass holder, unless like you hold like the fucking like that premium shit, which they gave you the Animal Crossing and Splatoon 2 expansion, right? I think that at the very least, for the DLC for future first party Nintendo games are likely going to be like $20, 30 tops, to cash in on whatever seasons that are there. Like with Mario Kart, you got so many carts, you got so many maps, characters, you got so much shit for damn near forever. So bearing that in mind, and especially we're not. I think Smash Ultimate is the last Smash, so there's going to be Mario Kart's going to be the only game with DLC for now, aside from like expansions. Like Donkey Kong's going to have one for sure. Kirby's going to have one for sure. Or Kirby has one actually. Metroid Prime maybe. Who fucking knows? First party Nintendo wise, like Smash Ultimate was the last one to have like that much amount of DLC, and that's the last Smash game. So if we get anything for Smash, like going on that for a second, it's just going to be a Switch 2 version that has like better performance. That's all. Yeah, it already has a better performance. It has all the characters off the box. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. The Nintendo Switch 2 Direct had a lot of information. definitely, like I
Mhm.
said, if you want to see more on any of these games, specifically right now, Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, I think they also showed off Dragon Drive. They showed off the compatibility with the Switch 2 versions of Tears of the Kingdom and or Breath of the Wild. Check those out. There's some good stuff there if you want to see this game in action. Mario Kart World looks fucking phenomenal, and like I said, we gotta play some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe before this
Man,
comes
say the
out to
word.
scratch the itch because I am so excited to see this game. I'm so excited to play this game. I'm pre-ordering as soon as I get the chance to. I'm maxing out my fucking ZipPay account. I don't give a fuck. So
You better
I'll
talk.
see
You better
y'all in
talk to.
goddamn June, bro.
You better talk to Rob. Like, all right, how do I make my paying for better?
Bro, my paying for
Man.
is already good. I'm a paying 8 this thing. I'm gonna be decent for a while. So
Paying 12.
here we go. All right. And with that, that is our show. That show. We did it.
Oh, that was
Another
boozy.
one. Man, there's so much. There was so much to talk about. There's so much to
We-
talk about.
It was
But
all
yeah, we did
Nintendo
it.
based.
Yeah, man. Like I said, whenever a console drops, it's always big news, regardless of which console it is. We're probably gonna be doing this whenever Xbox drops whatever shit they're working on. So we'll
Yeah.
see. But
We'll
thank
see.
you for listening, tuning in here at twitch.tv/ConMenRDW, listening to the Commentary Podcast live, hanging out with us for the last 3 hours or so, talking about Nintendo Switch 2. Can't wait to talk about
Just
more of it
yapping.
later. It's going to be so fun.
Yep.
It's going to be great. Thanks for tuning in with me, DavidRDW, over at ConMenRDW. And you can also follow me and also King Two Darks and Brendan at their respective channels. So, King, where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can find me over here on Twitch as well as on Blue Sky at King2 Darts. You can also find me over on TikTok, and you can find me over on my YouTube channel at King2 Darts on YouTube, where I am finally working on a Let's Play.
Nice.
And let's just say that I may have had to re-record this thing 3 times.
Yeah, it'd be like that. Woo!
But also, speaking of being like that, Monkey.
Hooray!
Yo, you can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky, and SoundCloud, all under the same handle of AG Backtech. No stream this weekend because I have a busy weekend, unfortunately, but I hope to be back hunting and hollering with the boys next week. I know we got the Monster Hunter updates coming out tonight/tomorrow. So yeah. But yep, you can definitely find me on those platforms, like I mentioned with the whole SoundCloud. I am still working on music. I'm sorry, I have been busy with a lot of shit, and of course, writer's block. But I do plan on making some more content, especially music-wise. So you'll be hearing some new shit on my stream, David streams, Al streams, and Mark streams, as well as tuning in to my SoundCloud. Any support, streams, shares are appreciated. I love you guys. I do have a goal to want to put it on Spotify as I'm making more music. So if I can get a good amount of followers, I'd say maybe let's go up to 50, let's say 25 followers, because I'm pretty lowballing it right now, but I want to work my way up. I want to push myself to other platforms and then keep making more and more music for you guys to help support the community as well as my own interest into diving in all this shit. And then last but not least, I'll go ahead and do this for y'all too. Gonna go ahead and give a quick shout out. Here we go. That's for Mark.
What the
Shout
fuck?
out, shootout. Quick shootout.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, bang, bang. What? Fine. Here you go, David. There we go.
Oh my
This
goodness.
is for Mark over here on his channel at Mark Not Mark. You can find him on Twitch, YouTube, Blue Sky, and Twitch, YouTube, and Blue Sky, all under the same handles of Mark Not Mark. He is our resident voice actor and cosplayer and things of the like, variety streamer as well too. So you will likely catch him. If he's not doing anything this immediate weekend, he does stream Sunday to Wednesdays. Sundays is social days, Mondays is multiplayer, so kind of a social day too. Tuesdays LP, and Wednesday is whatever we feel like doing. It's this wild card Wednesday. We did a stream where we played a couple of random games and just hung out for a good couple of hours yesterday. So if you like our dumb faces, you also like Mark's dumb face as well too. So go ahead and give him a follow. He would also greatly appreciate it.
Oh yeah. And we would also greatly appreciate it if you follow ConMenRDW on most social platforms like Blue Sky, like Twitch, like YouTube, and also other social media platforms as well. Links in the description, links on socials and things like that as well. Yeah. So thank you so much for hanging out with us on this episode of the Commentary Podcast, the Geeky Nerd Show for Geeky Nerdy people. We'll catch y'all on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.